Introduction. I am Ashish. I have 15 plus years of experience in SAP consulting. I have, in that 15 plus years of experience, I have 3.5 years of experience in domain. I am basically from logistics modules. Core modules are MM, EWM, warehouse management, SAP WM. So those are my core modules. I know SD, QM, PP, other modules. I'm working like more than 8 years in EWM as a functional consultant, as solution architect. I am I have done implementation project, support project, upgrade project. So recently we have upgraded to 2023 system. So we did a lot of stuffs on EWM. I'm taking regular batches for Naveen. And this particular course, if I talk about this course, because here all of our we are here to learn EWM. So this course is your introductory functional consultant course, where we are going to discuss a lot of business example. We'll go through a lot of basics. We'll try to build a platform or base for your EWM, and further you can build your knowledge on those platform or the fundamentals which we are going to develop here. So without any delay, I'll share my screen and I'll start the session. Just give me a second. I'll share my screen. Okay, now I want this session to be a interactive session. Stop me in between if you have any questions, any doubts. I'm anyways going to stop after most of the slides and ask you if you have any doubts. So if you have any doubt, confusion, doesn't matter if it is a small doubt or it is a silly doubt, just ask your doubt. I'll try to answer it. I'll take some business examples or some real-time examples so that you can understand it better. Okay, any one of you can confirm whether you are able to see my screen or not.
Yes, Ashish, we can able to see.
Yes.
Okay, just a moment. I need to find the correct slide. Okay, sorry for the delay. Okay, this is the correct one. Okay, I hope you are able to see my screen. Okay, now this training which we are going to take it forward in our upcoming session is for SAP S4 HANA embedded EWM. Now, why we will call it as embedded, and what are the different versions of your EWM, those things I'll discuss it in this session. You will get a very clear idea about the history of your warehouse management solution in SAP. But before we deep dive into SAP and we'll see the warehouse solutions what SAP has to offer, what we will do, we'll first of all try to understand what is warehouse. So as some of you are from a warehouse background, some of you have worked on SAP WM, or some of you have already worked on supply chain. Some of you are very fresher, they don't know what is SAP or what is functional consultant. Some of you are already aware about SAP, but you don't have any idea on functional area. So some of you are from basis, ABAP, some kind of background. So for those students or for those guys, I'll take this slide and we'll discuss it. Now, I'm not talking about anything related to SAP or anything related to ERP. This is pure business. Okay, like what I'm talking about, the customer side, or the client which you are working for. So what is warehouse? So warehouse is a facility, or it is a storage facility where you keep your goods, to store it or to save it, and whenever some customer requirements comes, at that time you are going to issue to your customer. So you, at that time, you are going to search that product which you need to issue to your customer based on your customer order, and you'll deliver that product on time. So that is simply warehouse. Now, why any business or any industry would need a warehouse management solution, or why they would require some ERP or some software systems to manage their warehouse? So to answer that question, I in this slide I have given three pictures. So the first is picture is a very simple warehouse where goods are coming in and going out. It's a very small warehouse facility where you have very limited space, and the volume of your goods coming in and going out is on a very low scale, or it's very low. Now, the second warehouse is comparatively big, or comparatively huge. The volume of goods coming in and going out is much more on a higher side, but still you are going to use this as a basic warehouse facility. There are no much complexity in this warehouse. But here, if you see the third warehouse, where you can see the complex warehouse, where you have multiple doors, you have multiple complex processes, batch management, serial management, quality management. Like, you need to check your quality before you send to your customer, or whenever you are receiving the stock from your supplier, you will check the quality. Maybe this warehouse is related to your manufacturing plant, so your PP, like production planning, is also integrated. You have to issue some stock to your production. So there are a lot of complex warehouse processes involved in it, and it's a very huge warehouse facility. Again, the goods coming in and going out is on a much more higher scale. So it is very important to track and trace the material within your warehouse. So in this kind of scenario, industry or business need to manage the warehouse, which is a very complex warehouse. So to manage, to integrate, and to seamlessly integrate. I will not say only integrate, because you have different modules, or you have different departments, like your sales department, your purchasing department, your production department is highly depending on this warehouse. So because you are going to store your materials, and for any department, material is a key thing. Okay, like to your purchasing department will work on material, your sales department is going to work on material, your production department is going to work on material. So everybody is going to work on material. So the warehouse team has to seamlessly integrate with all other department. So that's why it is very important to manage your complex warehouses. You need some warehouse management solution. Now, for any warehouse management solution, what are the key features or key functions? Still, we are not talking about SAP or ERP or ECC. This is a generalized warehouse management solution. So in market, you have several warehouse management solution. SAP is offering SAP WM, EWM. There is another very good software, Manhattan, which is very popular in US. So there are various warehouse management solution. So for any warehouse management solution, what are the key features and function? So the first and foremost is to track and trace your product or your goods within your warehouse. Now, why it is so important? Because you have a huge warehouse facility and your customer has ordered something like some XYZ product. So at that time, you are you are not going to search that product. It should be, the information should be on your fingertips. You should be able to quickly identify where that product is stored, and you should be able to pick it and pack it. Now, some of the industries are depending on that lead time. Okay, like once you receive a order, within how many seconds you are going to dispatch that product to your or you are going to dispatch that product out of your warehouse. So based on that, it's make or break. Okay, so it's heavily depending upon that. So the tracking and tracing is the first and foremost criteria for your warehouse management solution. The second criteria is to control movements. You cannot give access to your goods or to your warehouse area to all your users or to all the person who are working in warehouse. So you need some control that okay, this group of people are going to work on this area. I can give one of the example for pharmaceutical industry. So in pharmaceutical industry you have schedule x drug. So those schedule x drugs are very crucial, like they are addictive drugs. So you cannot give that access. Even your some of your auditing bodies will also uh, check that how many people has access for that area. So you can do the controlling of your movement. In addition to this, you should be able to record your goods movement. Now what is the meaning of records of good movement? So let's say you have one product and some another person has xyz person has moved that product from point A to point B. So whatever goods are moving within your warehouse or inside your warehouse or outside your warehouse, that has to be registered in ERP system or in your warehouse management system. So that if you want to backtrack that product, that okay, who has moved this product, why he has moved this product, at what time he has moved this product, all the details will get registered, and you can take out that report and you can see that. Now people who have worked on MMSD, they or ABAP, you know that in IM level, like inventory management level, you have material documents. So material document is nothing but your records of goods movement. So you have your movement type by which you can understand the goods movement, and you will get all the records like who has moved, why he has moved, all the details will be there. People who has not worked on it, don't worry, we are going to discuss it in our upcoming classes in very much detail. But these are the basic functions or key features for any warehouse management solution. So if you are buying or customer is buying a warehouse management solution, so they will expect some basic key functions. Like if you give some top, like on top of it, if you are giving some additional functionalities like other features like voice to pick and all those things, it's a good thing. But this is a very basic thing. Okay, so far any questions?
No, it's going good. Thanks, Ashish. I think material movement type you were mentioning, maybe in the next sessions you can highlight on that. Maybe that might be new for the people, right? So
Yeah. So for fresher, that would be new, but in EWM we have warehouse process type. So don't worry, we'll discuss it much more detail on this. This is just an introduction session. I'm just giving you a handshake with your warehouse management thing. Like it's a very basic class, but it will give you a lot of details. Okay, like what is SAP, what is warehouse management, what is the functional area which we are working on. Okay, so moving ahead. Now, this slide is representing what SAP has to offer in your warehouse management solution area, like what SAP is providing. Now, this chart or this diagram will represent the history of your SAP, like how SAP has evolved over a period of time. So when SAP was introduced, there was no warehouse management solution. So in the point number one, you can see there was no warehouse management solution. So initially when SAP was introduced, R1, R2. So at that time, they have a core module. When I say core modules, like your finance, purchasing, sales, production. So basically, SAP was a product for manufacturing industry. That was the target audience initially when SAP was introduced. But soon they realized that okay, with only this set of functionality, it's very difficult because like the customer has a heavily depending on your warehouse functionality, and they have to offer something related to your warehouse management system so that they can manage their warehouse easily, and they can track it, because there are a lot of issues on the warehouse side. So people were complaining about the warehouse management system, like what SAP will do to make their life easier. And then SAP realized this very soon. SAP is a very intelligent company, and they realized it, and they provided a lean warehouse management solution. Now, what is lean warehouse management solution? So every module or every area of SAP has different org structure. So you have plant, storage location. So you have company code, plant, storage location, and your warehouse management will come below your storage location. Now, your at that time you don't have any warehouse structure, so whatever you are going to perform it, like all the inventory management will take place at a storage location level. So what they did, they have given some functionalities or the features. So you have to activate lean warehouse management system so that you can perform picking, put away, and shipping process in at your storage location level itself. So that functionality called as a lean warehouse management, it's a very basic features or functionality which SAP was offering at that time. But SAP has soon realized that this is not going to work. They have to give some hardcore solution to the industry so that their market demand can increase. So in R3, when they released SAP R3 version 2.0 in 1993, they revolutionized the industry sector. They introduced SAP WM, and till date what we are talking about, this is the most popular module amongst the industry. Like, people who are working on this, they are working since last 3 decades. People don't want to move from this. Okay, to move from SAP WM to EWM, SAP has to give lot of offerings. They have to give lot of new features, functionalities. Why I am hearing those sounds? Just a moment. um, okay, somebody is okay, can't hear you what you said. Can you just rejoin, Sid? um, okay, just rejoin.
So I rejoined, but I like you said that when SAP launched, so it is just different modules, and it is the target audience was like manufacturing sector. Then
Yep.
after that, what you said, have not heard. So
So I okay, don't put any messages on chat. If you have any questions, just unmute yourself and interrupt me. I'll answer you
yeah.
because I cannot see the chat message. Okay. So what I was saying, that after that SAP has introduced a lean warehouse management. So your lean warehouse management is a storage location level. So in SAP you have different org level, company code, plant, storage location. So your inventory management is taking place at a storage location level, and SAP has provided certain functionality like basic functionality, picking, packing, put away, shipping process, like basic things. But then SAP soon realized that they have to give some hardcore solution to industry. So they have introduced SAP WM. So in R3 version in 1993, they have introduced SAP WM, and they have given a separate organizational structure for your warehouse, which is going to come below your storage location. So remember this, whatever SAP is providing as a solution for warehouse management, it will be below your storage location. So under your storage location, you will create your warehouse. You have separate storage types, storage section. In upcoming classes, we are going to discuss that. But you have a separate organizational structure. And here in SAP WM, they have given a radio frequency solution like a handheld device. You might have seen those RF gun, Motorola RF guns, like to scan your barcode. So you can integrate those devices to your backend SAP system, and whatever you are going to scan it, it is going to be registered in your SAP system in SAP WM. So this module got popularized in a very short period of time, and still date this is a very popular module, and SAP is going to stop this services by 2027. And everybody has to move, like whomsoever are working on currently SAP WM, they have to move on to your SAP EWM, because SAP is going to stop their support for SAP WM. Now, when SAP is going to stop, there are no new SAP nodes, no new patches is going to come. And if you are facing any issues, it would be very difficult. So that's why you can see those sudden rush to move your upgrade to S4 HANA, or to move or migrate from SAP WM to EWM. Those urgency, you can feel it in the market. uh, and soon by 2030, like most of the client will move on to the EWM, and that's why suddenly this module has a huge demand. Okay, we'll discuss those on the demand side, what is EWM and all those things. But before that, we need to understand one more important concept called decentralized warehouse management solution. Now, what is the meaning of decentralized? So currently, what SAP has given, SAP WM, or the warehouse management solution, was in the same ERP client, or in the same server, or in the same box. It was tightly integrated with other modules. But the disadvantages it has some disadvantages. So the warehouses which are working for 24 by 7, so for them it is very difficult to keep this WM running 24 by 7, because sometimes you have to take some downtime, there is some server issues. So in those cases, SAP has introduced SAP decentralized solution, where you are going to move your SAP WM module to your a separate client or separate box, and you are going to detach it from your mainframe ERP system. But still, it is going to be connected with your standard BAPI connectors, and this transaction and master data is going two ways. So those things I'll discuss it in my next slide, where I will discuss both the modules in detail. But now, after this, SAP has realized, and SAP has given or created this SAP extended warehouse management solution. Now, a lot of people are thinking that, okay, this is a new module, this is a very new technology. No, this module was there since 2004, 2005. Okay, this is a very old module. But why people were not very much aware? Because it was on a separate SAP product called SCM. So if you see the all the older versions of your EWM 5.0 to 9.4, all the versions are on SCM. SCM is a supply chain management, just like your SAP ECC or your SAP S4 HANA. You have a separate product which SAP was selling, where you have seen a lot of popular modules like EWM, APO, transportation management. Those modules you might have heard. So all those popular modules are on SCM system. And to use EWM, you have to take a separate license for your EWM system to connect with your mainframe ERP system, so that you can leverage this extended warehouse management solution. Why? Because it has a additional feature. If you have a very complex warehouse, it will make your life easy. You can manage your warehouse much more organized and much more optimized way. So that's why SAP was going with extended warehouse management on SCM system. But in 2016, SAP has realized that, okay, if they want to move ahead with S4 HANA for the future growth, they have to give some additional modules or the popularized module to S4 HANA, so that popularity of S4 HANA can be increased. So they have given this module which was there uh, since a long time in SCM. The EWM module was removed from here, or they have just shifted this EWM module to your S4 HANA system. So all the new versions, like all the EWM versions on S4 HANA, will call it as 9.5 version, and that's it. Like after that, there are no new version for EWM. Then your S4 HANA versions will be counted. So currently the S4 HANA version is S4 HANA 2023 is the latest version, which fortunately Naveen is going to provide us for the training purpose, which is a very good thing. So all the EWM embedded versions, why we'll call it as embedded? Because it is not meant for S4 HANA. Initially the EWM was on SCM system or in SCM product, but SAP has provided this solution to S4 HANA, and we'll see further why it is called as embedded. but we'll call it as embedded EWM on S4 HANA as this moment of time. The S4 HANA embedded version will always 9.5, and it will be identified based on your S4 HANA version. Okay, enough of talking. Any questions on this slide? I know there are a lot of information, a lot of detail, but if you have any questions, do let me know.
I have one question. So regarding these, when you're telling about saying about this as embedded, like for example, if you have a new customer who is migrating everything into S4HANA, will this embedded EWM 9.5 will be automatically, or there will be an additional purchase that he needs to do? Because the keyword embedded is very dodgy, you see.
Yes, I know, but after this demo session, you will get a clear clarity on why it is called embedded and why SAP has given this. Now, if you
Uh,
are using S4 HANA, if your customer is using for first time for S4 HANA and they are going to take the S4 HANA license, they don't have to take any license for EWM embedded version if they are using a basic version. Now, EWM has two versions, a basic EWM version and advanced EWM functionality or advanced EWM version. So if you are using advanced EWM, where your TM EWM integration will come, your advanced production planning will come. There are certain features which we are going to discuss it in our upcoming classes. So if you are going for that particular functionalities, then you have to take a license for advanced EWM functionality. But if you are going with a basic EWM functionality, you don't have to pay any single penny for them. Make sense?
yeah, Ashish, thank you.
And those things we are going to discuss it in our first or second session, so don't worry, we are going to discuss that. So I'll show you where the advanced and basic functionality you can select for your warehouse. Okay,
Ashish, one question.
yeah, go ahead.
So, for example, right now we there are few systems which are yet to be moved to the EWM in the separate system like another SCM, right? So we are going to cover those topics that how the integration is happening with the S4.
So this particular training session is for embedded version because everybody is migrating to S4 HANA. Okay, so anyways, the ERP and your SCM system. So if you are using ERP system till now, you cannot use EWM. Okay, you have to go with SCM and you have to integrate your ERP system with SCM. But now people are moving from ERP to your S4 HANA. There is a huge demand for embedded training sessions. Okay, so that's why this training session is for a embedded version. So we are going to see S4 HANA embedded EWM 9.5 on the latest S4 HANA version, that is 2023. However, we are going to discuss few of the basic differences between your decentralized and embedded. So some of them I will cover in this session, some of them will be covered in during the upcoming sessions. So, but there is a core concepts are there. Those things we are going to cover it, but there are some things where you can only showcase in a decentralized server or decentralized system. Those things I cannot showcase you, but theoretically we are going to discuss a lot of the things.
Thank you.
Okay, but yes, this training, if you talk about a very like topic to topic or the point to point, it's not a decentralized training, it's a embedded EWM training. If you want to take decentralized, we'll also take it, but for that we need again a decentralized system. And we have a very less queries on decentralized because everybody is moving to them. I would request not to ping in the chat because I cannot see the chat. um, Okay. Sayed has some connection issues. Okay. Let me go back to my slide. Okay. So here we discuss point number 3 and point number 4. Because we are learning warehouse management solution or EWM, we need to understand SAP WM, like a bit detail, like just an overview, because the basic template of warehouse management solution is taken from SAP WM. They are totally different product, but if you see the template, like overall template or the skeleton is the same. Okay, like the overall business requirement, or the, you can say, the framework is the same. The only thing is that they have given some additional features, and they have packed this with lot of other new things. So it's important to understand what is WM and decentralized warehouse management system. So for that, I have prepared this slide. Now here you can see that your warehouse management system. Okay, so we are talking about point number 3, what we discussed here, which is in highlighted in blue. So here SAP has introduced SAP WM module, which is tightly integrated with other modules like PP, MM, SD, and QM, and all those modules. And all these modules are in the same client or in the same server. We'll call like in ERP system, in the same client or in the same server. And you, as you have a separate organizational structure for your SAP WM, your inventory management is now taking place at a bin level, not at a storage location level. So in your lean warehouse management solution, it was taking place at a storage location level, but now it has been moved to your bin level. Then SAP has introduced radio frequency solutions, so your handheld devices can be integrated, and you can scan those, and those information can be populated in your S4HANA system. Sorry, in your SAP WM system. Now you can perform the all the activities related to warehouse, like put away, picking, internal movements. And SAP has a USP. It can integrate with the external system very well. So it can connect any external system. There are various ways via iDoc. There are n numbers of ways via which you can connect your SAP system with the third party system. So that is the most important thing from the warehouse perspective, because you have a lot of third party warehouse tools, device, or systems which you need to integrate with your ERP system. So those things you can do it, and it got very popularized because of that. Now,
Sorry, one question I have here, like, because when you are interacting with the external third party systems,
yeah,
like, because generally if it is within SAP, generally you use this RFCs and IDOCs and BAPIs and all that, this will work. But when it is external systems, like, because it is now we are talking about embedded version, is you're talking about cloud, right? So the moment it is cloud, do we need to use the tools like BTP and all that, or is it like only the file system synchronization? Because you might have a landing page of AWS S3 or somewhere where they are putting the files, and then maybe that needs to be got into this. So there could be various kind of file formats, right? So maybe you can give us some high level overview of, like, what kind of external files that were integrated in your experience in the past.
definitely we have a separate topic for this, that is called material flow system, in which we are going to discuss how you are going to integrate with the third party system. So what are the different ways how you can connect it? Unfortunately, we don't have any third party PLC system to connect, but I'll give you a excellent overview. I'll show you all the configuration, and I will share one like wonderful presentation where I'll show you the graphical representation of it. uh, Now coming to second part of your question is this. There are two things. Okay, uh, there is a cloud, and there is an on-premises system. Okay, so here we are going to discuss on premises system, but for cloud it is bit different how you are going to integrate with your third party and other SAP system. Okay, but this particular session is for your on premises. Okay.
One question, Ashish.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So, so mostly like companies are doing like cloud or the on-premises version.
So it depends upon individual client and company, but what I have seen so far, mostly people will take on premises because they have more control over it. Because in cloud you have a very limitations, like you cannot do much Z on it. Okay, so on premises will give you a liberty to do a lot of Z stuff, as well as you can manage your servers and system. So like both the system has advantages and disadvantages, but so far whatever I have seen in the market, people are more tilt towards on premises.
If like if we learn on premises system like SAP EWM, so can we work on the on cloud version as well, or is it both different?
Yes. So as a functional consultant, the functionality is going to remain the same. Only for basis consultant or the connectivity part is the differentiator, but that we are not going to take care anyways. So for our perspective, see, like functional consultant is nothing but a business. So you are a bridge between the technical guys and the business. Okay, so you should know the business. So your main focus should be more on the business processes and how you can map those business processes in EWM. Okay, that is our focus. Our focus is not about like how you are going to connect both the system, what the connective ports are there. Those settings just leave up to the technical guys. Okay, like basis and abap, you have a like wonderful abap team. If you are going in a implementation project, you should have some strong abapper in your team who can understand like classes and all those things, because like S4 HANA and EWM has a different kind of ABAP. Like it's highly based on classes, and there are a lot of oops concepts are going on. So you should be able to understand this. But as a functional consultant, it doesn't matter. The configuration part is going to remain the same.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So Ashish, you mentioned like in the EWM there is a concept of instead of storage type, it is going to have a storage bin. So is there any big difference or?
Yes, there is a lot of big difference. So don't worry, I'll cover it today. So in this demo session, I will cover the structure. Okay, at that time I'll explain you.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, Ashish, one quick one, and then we can move further. Sorry, what I was trying to understand is because you're telling about on-premise, most of them are going to use, but I was seeing this SAP CEO's comment on the main channel, main news channel. So what I'm seeing is that more they are pushing towards the cloud, and then so if that is the case, then that we should be able to do this functionality, whether it is cloud or whether it is on premise, right? I know that you might say that it is the same screens and all, but then maybe the integration aspect should be known at least at a high level. If we can know that, then it will
So
be easier for us to.
yes, yeah. So in that case, see, try to understand. SAP has more margins if you are choosing a cloud premises, because SAP is going to support that system. Okay, so when SAP is going to support that system, then you have to pay a premium charges to SAP. If you are going for on premises, yes, you have to manage your system and server and all those things, but those charges will be lesser than what you are doing for the cloud thing. In addition to this, you have some like you can have more liberty on premises. So based on my experience, I have tell you that okay, business current scenario, people are more tilt towards the as like on premises. In
On-premise.
addition to this, there are a lot of like most of the clients who are big right now, they are using SAP since like 2-3 decades. Okay, so they already invested on the servers and everything like infrastructure. So they are not going to move towards the on cloud, because they have already like spent their money on the things, right? So people who has already invested on the infrastructure, they are not going to move whatever SAP is saying or whatever SAP CEO is saying. They are not going to move towards the cloud, because they have already spent the money. Now why they will again spend the money on cloud thing? And like people who are there more than a decade will definitely has a huge Z empire in SAP. Okay, any client who is big, who is making money, they will spend money on the customization, they will have custom reports, they will lot of have z things. Okay, so when you are moving this, there are certain limitations for that as well. So over and all, that's why I told you, like, current industry standard is more tilt towards the on premises rather than the cloud. But if you are talking about me, like, you like, there is a difference and all those things, I am totally agree with you. If you want to do that, there is a separate training for on cloud training, you can enroll that as well. But overall, if you see from the functional consultant part of it, the main criteria or main the configuration part will be the same for both of them. Only the thing is that the connectivity part is the thing which you need to learn.
That's fine. Yeah, I think
Okay.
I got the answer. Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Because I'm looking only functionality. If it is same, then I'm least to bother,
Yeah.
because then because as you rightly mentioned, there will be some integration guys or the ABAP guys, so who can help and do the needful. So that's fine.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Now this slide is to explain you what is decentralized model, because when we discussed about SAP WM, sorry, EWM on SCM, it's a decentralized model. So that's why I have kept this slide intentionally. So what is the meaning of decentralized WM? So your WM module, in previously it was in the same box or in the same server or in the same client, but here you have moved SAP WM module into a different client or different server or different box, whatever you want to say, and it is separated from your mainframe ERP, and it is connected with your BAPI standard BAPI connectors. Now, this, why anybody will do this? So for a better performance, obviously, like if you keep this warehouse management system into the same server, uh, other modules or other transactions are also there, right? So for a better performance, if you move it into a separate thing, you will get a better performance, 24 by 7 availability, low risk of downtime. Those are the advantages of your decentralized model. And to integrate with your standard BAPN connector, the starting point is your inbound delivery and outbound delivery. So you need your inbound delivery and outbound delivery to connect it. Don't worry, what is inbound delivery, what is outbound delivery, we'll see it in our upcoming classes. Okay, now we'll talk about EWM. So if you see, we are going in a very sequential manner. We saw what is WM, decentralized. Now we are talking about EWM. Okay, so in any warehouse management solution, you have three type of processes. One is inbound process, another one is outbound process, and third one is a internal operations. Now, how I will see it from my point of view is, in any warehouse, why you need warehouse to store your material, right? So initially when you build your warehouse, it will be empty. So how the materials are going to come within your warehouse? Any idea?
To keep at the specific place and with a particular,
Eh, okay.
environment and
The customers demand, whatever customer demand, then these products come and go.
Okay, let me take a very domestic example, then we'll move on to the warehouse so that you guys can actually correlate, because you guys are not from the warehouse background. So let's say you have started a kirana shop. Okay, you purchased a one shop, and right now the shop is empty. Now people are, you have put a board that general store, XYZ general store. Now what will happen? Your store is empty. How you are going to sell your product to your customer? You don't have any material, or you don't have any stock. So how you are going to increase the stock?
We see what the customer demand first, so then we organize those stock first.
Okay, how you are going to organize? You don't have any stock. So first of all, you have to purchase that goods, right? So let's say your customer has a demand that I want Parle-G biscuit. So you have to go to the supplier who is selling the Parle-G biscuit. You will give a order in bulk that I need 100 Parle-G biscuit unit. So what he will do, he will provide you that 100 Parle-G biscuit. You are going to arrange that in your shop. Make sense, guys?
Yes, Ashish. Yes.
Yeah. So similarly in warehouse also, once you build a warehouse, the warehouse will be empty. You need to first of all procure the material so that you can arrange it in your warehouse. So that process, will call it as a inbound process. So anything which is coming from outside world to your warehouse premises, will call it as a inbound process. Okay. Now what will be the outbound process? Anybody wants to guess before I answer this?
After make to stock, we need to sell the product to the customer. Uh,
Excellent.
from yeah,
So
from
I can
our
say that
warehouse to
with that example, can I say that anything which is going outside
sell.
to world, like from my warehouse to outside world, it will be a outbound process. Correct? Right?
Yes, yes, Ashish.
Yeah. So why I'm not taking a very specific example, why I'm saying that from outside world it's going to warehouse, because it's not necessary that every time your customer is going to send the product to you. Sometimes whatever you have sold, your customer is going to send it back. You will get a return deliveries. So again, it will be called as a inbound process. Why? Your customer is sending you the returns, right? So for warehouse guys, it will be a inbound process. You are taking inside your warehouse. So that's why I'm giving this definition in the generalized term. Now we know what is inbound process, what is outbound process. Now what is internal operations or storage process? So within your warehouse, if you are moving your goods from point A to point B, doesn't matter where. Okay, if you are moving your stock from one place to another place, it will be called as a internal operations. Now there are various internal operations like physical inventory, replenishment, rearrangement. Those things will come in detail in our upcoming sessions. For each topic we are going to spend a lot of time to understand. We'll take a lot of business scenarios and I will explain you it properly. What is physical inventory, replenishment, arrangement, kit to stock, all those things we are going to discuss it. So similarly for inbound process, I had taken one example, GR against your vendor. You have quality management, internal routing, an outbound process, you have wave management, then picking, packing, then staging. Those things will come in your outbound process. There are a number of examples here just to give you an idea. In addition to this, what EWM additionally giving you for this all things, you will also find it in your SAP WM. But in EWM, you will find an excellent analytical reporting tool called Warehouse Monitor. So if you have Warehouse Monitor in EWM, you don't need any reporting. You don't need any Z reporting, or any Z report would be required in EWM until unless you have a very specific uh, requirement that okay, I need this Z things, and this custom things has to be showed here or something like that. I have created so far created only one Z report in my entire career in EWM. Okay, and it was because of the stubborn client. Uh, there is no need for any custom reporting in your EWM. Then you have a resource management. So whenever you are using or there are various users are going to work, there are various instruments are there in your warehouse which are going to help in your warehouse activity. We'll call it as a resource. Those resource management, the workers who are going to work in your warehouse, you can also manage them. Then you have cross docking, yard management. Then you have RF devices, material flow system, where you are going to integrate with your third party system. There are a lot of other details, or there is a like full pack of new features and functionalities are there which you can use it in your EWM system. Okay, now we all understood, okay, as EWM has some additional features and functionality, that's why it is very popular in complex warehouse where you have a huge warehouse facility. But how I'm going to deploy my EWM system, because I have like two EWM things what we discussed in our initial slide, that you have EWM on SCM from 5.0 to 9.4, and you have EWM, embedded EWM on S4 HANA, which is 9.5, right? So maybe your customer is on S4 HANA, or it is on, or if he is on ERP system. So how I'm going to deploy my EWM solution? Now it depends upon the fact that what mainframe ERP is. Is it a ECC, or is it a S4 HANA? So if it is a ECC, then you have to take, or you have to take SCM licensing for your EWM system. Okay, and you need to integrate your SCM to your ERP system. Again, if you are using ERP system, if you don't want other features for SCM, you just want to use EWM functionality only, you just take EWM license, and you just use it as a standalone, and you can integrate with your mainframe ERP system. This particular thing is, we'll discuss it, it is WM on add-on. But if you are using S4 HANA system, so like S4 HANA was released in 2015. Now the embedded version is on 2016. Okay, so there is a gap. That's why it is showcased that, okay, if you are using S4 HANA, you have to still take SCM license just like your ERP system, but it is for the older version. Now no longer this is the case. Most of the clients have been moved to 1610 or the higher version. So nobody right now on 2015 version S4 HANA. So this is not applicable. This two diagram is not applicable. This diagram I have still kept because to make you understand that EWM embedded version started since 2016. Okay, so in S4 HANA to 1610 version, you will got your embedded EWM first time in the market. So all previous S4 HANA version does not have EWM. This is an interview question. So if you are going for an interview, they might ask you this question. So remember that. So if you are using S4 HANA like higher than 1610, of which is very obvious, so you are going to use it as a embedded EWM. Okay. Any questions on deployment option? I'll take it as no. Now, before I jump on to the org structure, uh, this has less slides. Just give me a second. I will present one more slide. Why? I don't know why this slide does not have those. Because people are more interested over embedded and the other functional decentralized one. I will take few topics. Where is that? Where is that? Yeah, here it is. Okay. Okay, I'm sharing it again. Okay. Now, so far we are discussing a lot of this thing. Okay. Now you can ask me a question that, okay, we are discussing a lot of about embedded, but what is embedded? So as I discuss you, the okay, before that, this particular deployment option where you are using ECC and SCM server, right? To use your EWM functionality. So how it will look like? So it will be looking like this. So you have your ECC system, okay, and you have your SCM EWM system. So all your master data is going to be created in your ERP or ECC system, and they are going to move towards your ERP to your SCM system via method called SIF. SIF is APO core interface is the full form of it. It's a very old methodology which has been used by SCM product. to move your master data from your ERP to your SCM. Now, if you see here closely, it's a one way. So you're going to move your master data from this system to this system. And all your transactional data, you are going to move it from your ERP to your EWM system. Let me mute this. It's distracting me. Um, Let me, how I can mute this? Check it later on. Okay. So if you are using transaction data will be moved to your QRFC methodology from your ERP system to your SCM system, so that you can distribute your transactional data. If you see here, the arrow is on the two-way, so it's a vice versa. You can move from here to here and from EWM to your ERP system. So this is the data transfer model for your deployment option, what we discuss ERP to SCM EWM. Now, coming back to this, in S4 HANA embedded system, okay, you don't have this core interface. Okay, what we discussed, this one. We don't have this particular functionality. Why we don't have this functionality? Because in S4 HANA, as you know, you have some changes in your master data, and some of the new features has been added, like embedded system. So all your basic transactional data, like sorry, master data, are getting stored. Some of the master data table has been changed in S4 HANA. Because of that, you don't have to sift your materials. Okay, all those S4 HANA and EWM are going to take those information from those tables and going to populate them. So you don't need to sift or transfer your master data at all in your embedded version. Now we are talking about a lot of embedded. So what is embedded? So as this EWM was not meant for S4 HANA, it was created for SCM product. So what SAP has did, they have not seamlessly write the code throughout for your S4 HANA. They have simply put that SCM EWM and put it on S4 HANA. Okay, or just put that patch in S4 HANA. So you can use that functionality. Okay, however, even though it is in the same box or same server, it will be treated as a separate logical system. So if you see here, this is your embedded EWM, or this is your S4 HANA box or client. So for your S4 HANA, you have separate logical system, and for your EWM, you have separate logical system. Hence, there is no SIF, or there is no core interface model to transfer your master data because of S4 HANA. But for transactional data, still you are going to use QRFC, just like your ERP to SCM EWM. Okay, so for that also you are going to use QRFC. Here also you are going to use QRFC. Why? Because EWM is an embedded one, even though it is in the S4 HANA in the same client, but it will be still treated as a separate logical system. Make sense, guys? Guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So a lot of time I will get this question every time, like people who are new to this, they will ask me this question: why this module is called as embedded? Why MM, SD, PP, QM is not called as embedded? Because they all are come under your S4 HANA logical system. You don't have it, but EWM was never meant for S4 HANA. It was meant for SCM. So they have just picked that whole code or piece of code and put it in S4 HANA or embedded it. That's why it is called embedded. And you still going to treat it as a separate logical system as you do in the other environment, like ERP to SCM EWM. So you are still going to use those connector. So even though you are using this S4 HANA, still you have to set up those connectivity in S4 HANA, what you do in your SCM EWM. Okay, so those connectivity still needed. The only thing is that there is no core interface. That is the only change. Still you are going to use that basic functionality. Okay, if this concept is clear, I can move ahead. If this is not clear, I can still repeat it.
So, Ashish, just one question. Like, as you mentioned, the CIF is for the master data and QRFC is for the transactional data, right? So, still, why SAP has kept the QRFC in the S4 HANA? I mean, the transaction is also going to happen in the same system, right? And obviously, the master data also in the same system.
Hmm. Okay, can you rephrase your question so that I can properly understand and answer the question?
So here, I mean, as I understand during your explanation, the CIF is for core interface for the master data. Am I correct?
Yes, you are right.
And QRFC is for our transactional data. So still SAP, even though in the S4 HANA they have kept this QRFC. I mean,
Hmm.
is there any logic? Because obviously, if we are having the same master data in the same system, same transaction is getting to happen.
Right. Okay. I have
And I want
answered
to
that.
ask a similar question related to this, if you can please allow me.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, what's the difference between like master data and the transactional data?
Okay. So transactional data is whatever you are going to generate on your day-to-day activity, like purchase order. So purchasing department is going to create generate a purchase order to your vendor or supplier. The sales department is going to create your sales order for your based on your customer requirement. Then production department is going to create a production order. So likewise, you have a lot of transactional data in EWM, like inbound deliveries and outbound deliveries. So your day to day data punching, you can say, in traditional jargon will be used in business. So that is called as a transactional data. So whatever your end users are going to generate it to process your business processes is called as a transactional data. Now master data are the data which will be created once and they are going to repeat it again and again and again. Okay, for an example, let's say I'm going to procure one material. Okay, that material is will be measured in liters. So whenever I'm going to create a purchase order for that material, I have to mention the material number. I have to also mention the description. I have to also mention the unit of measurement, the price, and all those details I have to fill. So what I will do, I'll create one master record for that material. We'll call it as a material master record, and in which I have maintained all those specific details related to that material. So whenever I'm going to create a purchase order, I don't have to give lot of information on materials. I'll just put material number, and all those details will come from your material master data. Okay, so that is called master data. Understood?
Yeah, thank you.
So just like your material master, you have customer master, vendor master, you have plant, your shipping point, all those things are the master data. So what here I'm saying, in SCM EWM connectivity, you are going to sift those master data. You are going to create it in your ERP system. You are going to sift it from here to here. Okay. Now in SAP S4 HANA, there are some changes in the tables. Okay. Now who has, okay, first of all, the master data and transaction data question has been answered. Are you understood? Do you have any further question on that?
No, all good. Thank you so much.
Okay. Now, who has asked me the second question? Like sorry, first question. I
In this,
forgot. Sorry.
Praveen, this side.
Praveen. So, Praveen, like your question is that why still SAP is using QRFC? Okay, but not they are not using SIF in S4 HANA, but they are still using QRFC. To the answer to that question, I'm not sure what's your background. I forgot the things. You are ABAPA, right? Like, what's your background?
SD functional.
SD functional.
Yes.
Okay, so do you know in S4 HANA what are the simplification or what are the changes they have introduced? Do you know that what are the simplification changes, or what are the
Yes, yes, yes.
okay? So in that, you know that there is a table, like there were initially there were several tables, but there are now lesser table in S4 HANA, right? The master data tables, MadDoc, and all those things, you know that, right? So because of that, you don't need to sift it, because they have set up like that. So they were changing those master data. So because of that, they have kept a centralized table. Via that, both your S4 HANA and your EWM system will take those information from that central table. Okay, so you don't have to sift your master data. However, this EWM is still treated as a separate logical system for transferring your transactional data. That's why they have still kept QRFC. And gradually, as and when the versions will progress, and SAP will get some innovation, they will remove this, and your embedded system will become your seamline, uh, other, just like other modules, it will be like tightly integrated with other. But as of now, it is still treated as a embedded version, because it is a still separated logical system within your S4 HANA client. Make sense, Praveen? Are you there? I guess it dropped it. Where is Praveen? Praveen, are you there?
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, you understood the concept now?
Hello.
Your voice is like breaking.
Okay. Now it's
Just,
fine, or
yeah, just put it on chat. Like, did you understand the concept or not?
okay. Oh,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
Ashish, I have a question here.
Mhm.
So because you okay, so there are some of those tables. So okay, so the whole S4 HANA, whatever the tables that has happened is, earlier there was a lot of limitations in the database that they used. Now that it is S4 HANA, it is more on the column based storage and all that, and that's where the limitations on the tables have moved away. So that's where they are having one big table so that you can have a lot of expansions and so on. There is no limitation even for 1,000 fields and etc. and so on. So
Yes.
so that is the concept behind. However, coming to the next part, like where you were telling that still there is embedding and still those QRFC is happening, so that that it is whatever you have, those master or transaction data on your S4 HANA system, and then you are embedded. So both needs to be compatible. So that's where that QRFC is happening. But my question is that if it is using the same tables beneath the hood, if it is using the same tables, then you don't even need that to happen, right? So only for the fields that it is not using, but then where there is a synchronization required, so that's where is that QRFC is being used.
Yes. For that synchronization, they have to write a code, right? They have to map it according to S4 HANA. And SAP has not done it for EWM, and that's why it is called as a embedded.
Right.
That is the whole thing what I'm
But
trying to
you,
explain
but
you.
will
This
we have the list? Will we have the list, like okay, which are the ones? So, for example, I'm just telling an example. Let's say if it is material master, if the material master is coming from S4 HANA, it's a S4 HANA. So then that means the master data is actually residing there. So then I don't need to really get that. But only if it is fields related to explicitly to the EWM. So because those kind of fields will not exist in the MM, then only those kind of fields you need to do here, and then if there is any replication that is required, then you have to map that and then do that replication.
Yes, so for that, SAP has done it for master data, but not done it for the transactional data.
Action
So
data.
those things, what you are explaining to me, that okay, as like it's going to be taking from that table, and those things has to be distributed, and all those things has been set up for your master data. So that's why SAP has removed core interface in your embedded version, but still they have kept QRFC, because for that they have to write the entire coding again.
Right. Okay. That makes
Okay,
sense.
so and for that they cannot simply do the trial and error, right? So they have to be properly write the code. They have to set it up according to S4 HANA coding. It has to be matched. So currently they have just picked the entire one module, and they just pick it from S4 HANA and just set up on like they have just kept it on S4 HANA. So it will be still treated as a separate logical system. It has a separate coding behind it. So that's why still you are going to use it as a separate logical system, and QRFC is required for your transactional data, and SAP is still working on it. Soon you will get newer versions with where you don't need QRFC. Your once you create your inbound delivery, it automatically transfer to your EWM, but it will take a lot of time. Okay, they have started that, they are working on it, but it will take a lot of time for SAP.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, now I was supposed to take a further topic and explain you the organizational structure and WM structure, but what we will do, we'll take it in the next session. I hope you like the demo session for today's, and I'm hoping that everybody will enroll it, and you guys will get some fruitful result out of this training course. And I will see you. I hope I will see you again. If you have any more questions, do let me know. I can still answer some of the questions. If you don't have any question, then we'll connect it in our next session, which will be our first lecture for the EWM course. Anything from you guys?
Yeah, Ashish, I have a question. Like maybe I'll speak to you one on one.
Hmm.
If you can let Naveen know, then I will take your WhatsApp number or something, and then I'll contact you. Yeah?
Yeah, just check with Naveen. He will arrange the call. Okay,
That would be
so he will do the needful. That's okay. That's fine.
sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Okay,
So when
we
is
have
going to be the
Hi,
next
Ashish.
next
Hello.
class?
uh still Naveen will check how many people have been enrolled, and accordingly he will set up the next session. So that is the
Okay,
plan.
thank you.
Yeah. 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 Sorry.
Hi, Ashish. Hello.
Yeah, Sudhakar, tell
Yeah,
me.
further we are going to see all Fury reports and what are the standard reports and everything. We're going to.
Yes. So as I mentioned in one of my slide, you don't have reports.
Yeah.
Okay. You
Okay.
have one centralized report monitor screen
Mhm.
where you will see the entire warehouse reporting. Okay. So it is a
Okay.
one-stop
Good.
shop solution. But
Mhm.
to answer your question, yes, we are going to see a lot of Fiori screen. I
Mhm.
will explain you a lot of Fiori screen. I
Okay.
am more comfortable to GUI screen, so I'll do most of the transaction on GUI screen, but I'll frequently show you the other screen. I'll take a separate session on Fiori screen, how you can navigate, so people who has not worked on Fiori screen at least will get an idea, or like see the screen and fields are the same. The only thing is that look and feel is different in Fiori. That's it. It's a web-based application. So for look and feel, you guys, if you want, you can run the same transaction in Fiori as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. We are getting that also access for.
Yeah, definitely. You will
Yeah.
get everything, all the access, study material,
Yeah.
whatever business scenario I'm going to discuss. You will get a lot of things. You will get some bonus document from my side for
Okay.
each batch. I'll give based on they ask some questions. So last batch has asked me some questions on
Yeah.
BC set. So they need some BC set list.
Mhm.
What are the BC set required? So I gave them. So accordingly, whatever the questions student will ask, accordingly I'll give some bonus document. Okay, if I can.
Yeah.
Ashish, will you also do some case study kind of thing, like where it is near real time scenarios, and then
We are
maybe there will
going
be
to implement, just like we are in a greenfield implementation, we are going to do it from scratch. We are going to do entire configuration for our warehouse. We'll take one business scenario, we are going to apply those business scenarios. So I will not explain you entire business case or implementation, because if you go to an implementation project, you will go for a requirement gathering, right? So over there you will get a lot of information. So I have break down those information which are coming from your implementation project, and topic by topic we are going to discuss it, and we are going to apply the changes in your training system. So it's a kind of a mini implementation project. You will get a lot of knowledge out of it.
Okay. And other point is, will it be like every week, Saturday, Sunday, and 1.5 hour or 2 hours? I just wanted to understand.
See, right now I don't know what is the strength and how many people are going to enroll. So that will be taken care by Naveen and team. So the so all your materials, so I have provided everything to them. So distribution of material, scheduling the classes, arrangement, if you need to set up a call with me, those all those requirement will be taken care by Naveen and team. If you're not getting recorded session, connect with them. If you're not getting material on time, connect with them. For all the classes scheduling, connect with them. For only for EWM, okay, if you have any questions on EWM theoretical topic, business process topic, or from the practice session, if you're getting some error, come to me. So that's how we have divided, so that everybody can organizedly work, right? So that's the main area. I'm handling all the queries which are coming from EWM side, so I can focus only on EWM. Yeah.
And one more thing, Ashish, like not from this session and the previous sessions, trainers, what trainers are going to do is directly they are taking some reference and it is going to copy to the new plant or something, new storage location. Okay, there might be we are getting some confusion, like what are the fields or the mandatory fields, what is the important of that, and that are things that we are going to miss here. Okay,
Okay.
that's why my request is like you are
i'll
going to do some configuration and all
i'll
things. Yeah.
I'll give you one justification for that, why people are doing that. So
Yeah.
as a SAP's good practice, so whenever, even if you are going for an implementation project, a greenfield implementation project, you have reference warehouse 0001. So SAP itself is saying that whenever you are creating any new entry in config, you have to copy from the existing or reference, and you have to modify that entry. So that is the first thing. That's why you see a lot of trainers or a lot of consultants are copying it and creating new entry. The second part of justification is that here we are gathered to learn EWM. Okay, so if you are creating a storage location or plant from scratch, okay, you have to encounter with lot of fi, sd, those kind of errors, co errors. Okay, so to avoid those error, what we do, we copy from the reference plant and storage location, so that we can avoid those mmsd fi errors, so we can focus on ewm errors. Okay, that's why every time you see it, not only trainers, okay, if you go for an implementation project and if you go for a seasoned implementation consultant, like he will be also copying it. Okay, and that is the good practice, how it should be. Okay, so don't worry about it, but if you face any difficulties to understand it, I'll make sure that, and I will highlight what are the important field or mandatory field in this config or in this screen, what are the mandatory fields you need to give. Those things I'll give it in the note.
Yeah, yeah, got it. Ashish.
Yeah, but that is the major reason. I know, like last time also, like in one of my batch, one student, okay, you are copying everything, like from the reference plant, and you are just creating it. What value add you have done? Okay, it's not like that. It's a good practice which you have to follow.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, yes,
Ev-
yes, yes, right. A
everything
lot
has
of
a
things.
good practice and bad practice. So if you give, see, I'll tell to my student, even I tell to my clients as well. So SAP is a kind of a machine where you will give garbage, you will get a garbage. Okay, so garbage in, garbage out. If you give
Yeah.
good things, you will get a good things. So that's how
Un-
it works.
Understood. Understood. Like my main concern is like we behind that we need some information about what is that key fields
Don't,
and everything.
if
Yeah.
you feel any time that,
Mhm.
okay, you copied this reference and I don't understand it, why you did that,
Yeah.
just give me time, I will explain you. Because what will happen when I copy something, there are like when I copy storage type, I'll copy it from standard. Okay, every time I will copy it from standard. Why? Because there are 108 entries or 108 field in one storage type. I cannot cover 108 field anytime in this training session. Okay, so what I have to do, I have to cover a business scenario to cover one field. Okay, so I cannot cover the entire fields, but what are the important fields are there, definitely I will cover it, which will give you a lot of idea about why we are doing it, what we are doing it. And if I'm copying some reference entry, I will make sure that I will explain you what, why, and how. So that is the important in SAP. Whenever you are doing any configuration, first of all you should understand what you are doing. So for that you need to understand the business scenario, how you are doing, that means what configurations you are doing, and what is the objective of those fields. And ultimately we'll run the entire demo cycle, like entire end-to-end process. So it will give you more idea about configuration plus your business scenario. So don't worry about it. This is not my first batch. Okay, I have like taken a lot of batch with Naveen. So don't worry about it. You'll get a lot of idea. Okay.
Yeah, Ashish, agree. Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions? Okay, guys. Thank you so much. We'll connect soon. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, Ashish. Yeah.
Okay. So without any delay, I will present my slide. Just give me 2 minutes. Where is my demo slide? Yeah. Okay, I'll share my screen. Will not go much in detail because none of you have asked me many questions on demo session. So we'll just quickly go through whatever we discussed because it's quite a time. Just a moment. It's asking me for the permission. I have granted the permission. Are you guys able to see my screen or not yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay. Just give me a second. I'll close like a lot of screen because it might deviate your attention. Yeah, I want this. I want this. Okay, that's sufficient enough. I wanted to share entire screen. Okay. Uh, let me know one of you if you guys are able to see my screen.
Yes.
Yeah, right now I'm
We can.
presenting one PowerPoint presentation, which is our demo session deck. And in that session, first of all, we discussed about what is warehouse. And we saw different categories of warehouses: simple warehouse, mid-range warehouse, and very complex warehouse. And here we discussed why we need any warehouse management solution. Initial slides we have not discussed anything related to uh, just a moment. Initial slides we have not discussed anything related to SAP. This is purely a warehouse management solution what we are talking about here. And in next slide, we discussed about warehouse management system, like what are the key feature or functionality which any warehouse should have. Okay, like the basic functionality, like it should be the minimum functionality should be there. So tracking and tracing of your goods within your warehouse, which is a very important, because when your demand comes from your customer, you should be able to pinpoint your materials in your warehouse. Then the control movements of warehouse, like control movements within your warehouse, it's again a critical in some of the industry. And you should have all the records of your goods movement, like who has moved this stock, why he has moved this stock, where you have moved this stock. It is somewhat similar to your material document which you post your in your or IM level, that with your movement type you can see the where it has been moved or why it has been moved, or you can see the intention. And you can also see all, or you can see all those records, like why it was performed, who has performed. Similar to that, we'll see the equivalent of that in warehouse. Then we have discussed about SAP warehouse management solutions, what SAP has to offer in your warehouse management area. Okay, we discussed about a little bit about the history, how the overall solution got evolved. Like initially there was no warehouse management solution when SAP has introduced R1 and R2, and in R3 in 1993 they introduced SAP WM. And then gradually the journey begins, and SAP understand the user's requirement, and according to that they have modified it, or they have changed or evolved during a period of time. They have introduced a decentralized warehouse management solution. Then they have also introduced extended warehouse management solution. Now here you have two parts of extended warehouse management solutions. One is on SCM, another one is on EWM. Like the EWM on SCM is a separate product. So initially this product was meant for SCM. So all your older version like 7.0 or 5.0 is, I guess nobody is using it. So 7.0 to 9.4, all your older EWM version was on SCM. And 9.5 version, we will call it as an embedded EWM, because when SAP has introduced 1610, they considered EWM as 9.5. And after that there are no new versions been given to EWM, but it has been identified based on your S4 HANA version only. So in your S4 HANA the new versions are coming. So current latest version is 2023. Naveen is providing us the latest system, and we are going to practice it on 2023. But the initial embedded version was introduced in 1610. Now why I'm discussing all those things, because it is very important. Like when you discuss something with your customer or maybe in interview, this small thing should showcase that okay, you guys know what you are talking about, or you guys know the topic in depth. So according to me, those versions and what those versions are and all those things are very important. Then in this slide, we discussed about SAP WM. What is SAP WM? Most of you are from experience background, but still we have discussed it in a lot of detail. So SAP WM is a skeleton of your warehouse management solution. So most of the concept are copied from SAP WM. However, there are a lot of other features, or you cannot compare both modules. It's apple to orange comparison. Okay, so you cannot compare each of them. So if you have SAP WM knowledge, it's good enough, but don't compare topic to topic or object to object. It's a little bit of different. But yes, basic warehouse structure has been taken from your SAP WM. So SAP does not have to like build it from scratch. So they have taken the skeleton and they have built, or they assembled the new things into the product. Then we discussed about the decentralized model. Like what is decentralized? So decentralized means your warehouse management solution is in a separate client or separate box, and your mainframe ERP system is connected with your BAPI connector. Now this mainframe ERP system could be anything, like it could be your ECC or S4 HANA. In our upcoming slide we'll discuss about the deployment option, but yeah, we discussed about in detail, but that could be anything. So why you need a separate WM system in a separate server? Because you get better performance, 24/7 availability, and low risk of downtime. Those things we have discussed in much detail in our demo session. Then we discussed about warehouse processes and what are the new features, or what are the new functionality, why there is a hype of SAP WM, because you have excellent analytical reporting tool, you have resource management, cross docking, yard management. There are new features and functionality which SAP WM is not providing, and SAP WM supports more complex warehouses or more complex processes. And this slide I was discussing, like, this is the deployment option. We saw how different deployment options are deployed, or you can deploy it in your environment. Now this topic is purely depending upon your client's requirement or your client's environment, like how it has been built up. But you should be know the versions, the evolve, like SAP evolve, how SAP evolved this warehouse management solution, and the deployment option. These two things are very critical. You should know. You should not, like, nobody will expect you that you should know all those versions and how they got deployed, but you should at least have some knowledge that you have different SAP EWM versions and you have several deployment option. But for this training course, our main focus will be the embedded EWM on S4 HANA. Like, here I have mentioned that it is 1610 because it is the first time where embedded EWM was introduced as on S4 HANA. But we are using a latest version 2023 to understand the concept of embedded EWM. And now this slide I have not discussed. Okay, so this is our new topic. So to initiate or to understand your SAP EWM concept, what my style of training is that we will need a training system. Because if I give you a book how to swim, you will not able to learn the swimming. You have to go to the swimming pool and you have to jump it into the water. So the same concept applies here. If you want to learn EWM, you have to learn it with the training system. Okay, so we have a training system so before I initiate anything and explaining you the concept, we need to set up our warehouse. Okay, just like from the scratch. Let's say we are in an implementation project and your customer is giving you some requirement, and those requirement we are going to map it, and those initial requirement is to set up your warehouse or the basic structure of your warehouse, so that on further we can discuss new business scenarios and new topics we can cover it. Okay, so before we move ahead, any questions so far from the previous slides what I have discussed?
Yes,
Excellent.
a couple of things I wanted to know was, in one of the slides it was described about put away and all that, right? So maybe if you can explain the terminology, that would really help.
Yeah,
So
I discussed it in demo, but don't worry, we are going to discuss it in detail. What is put away, what is picking? If you have not worked in WM, don't worry. Okay, we are going to discuss it from scratch. Okay, so in that case, I'll discuss it in detail going further. But before I go and explain you the put away or inbound process, I need to set up some business structure or organizational structure. In addition to this, I have to also like introduce you with some new terminology. Okay, availability group and all those things. Don't worry, we are going to discuss each and everything in detail. Like, all the basic fundamentals are going to be covered in this training session. Okay, so if you are new to a warehouse management solution, don't worry about it. I'm going to discuss it each and every concept in much detail. Okay.
yeah, so I worked
Okay.
on a high level because I used to manage a EWM project. But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah,
so the other thing was that, there is also, you talked about the decentralized one. So I
yeah.
just wanted to understand between the decentralized and the centralized one, what would be the difference?
Yeah, sure, sure. We are going to discuss that as well. So in our demo session, I have discussed that how you are going to distribute the data. That is a major difference. But anyways, in our upcoming slide, we are going to discuss that. Okay, now this slide is bit different from my demo session slide. So I would request, if you guys uh, are are forgotten some of the things, or if you are joining it for the first time, just go through my demo session, in which also I have discussed what are the difference between your embedded and decentralized EWM. So the topic which you have like put up is is already covered in a demo session. So in that I have discussed that what are the basic difference. So you have three type of data: master data, configuration data, and your transaction data. So your master data has to be moved from your mainframe ERP system to your SCM EWM, or your decentralized EWM. So in that case you are going to use SIF. But if you are using embedded, you don't need a SIF technology. SIF is a APO core interface, or the method via which you can move your data from one system to another system. Okay, one SAP system to another SAP system. Those things I have discussed. The transaction data is still going with the QRFC, but if you don't get it, don't worry. I'm going to discuss it further in detail in this. So wherever I feel that, okay, these are the differences between your decentralized and embedded, I'm going to highlight those points in between our sessions. Make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So now, okay, how many of you are from background? Can you just let me know so that I can understand like how many people are from SD, or any other module. Like
Uh,
just quickly.
myself from M.
Okay, one. Any other guy? I guess Hemant is from Anybody else? Okay, excellent. So we have four guys. Okay. After that, anybody has worked in WM, SD, or any other SAP module?
Sudhakar from a background.
Okay, you are from ABAP, so I have to go bit on detail. Okay, no worry. Okay, so we are going to discuss about the organizational structure. Now, what happens that whenever you for go for any implementation project, each company has their own organizational structure. Like they will have their company code, they will have plant, under plant they will have storage location, and under storage location they are going to create your warehouse. Now what are those entities? So company code is on a very high level, where you are uh, going to generate your profit and loss statement, and all the financial activity can be measured on your company code level. Plant is a organizational entity which can be your manufacturing unit, it can be a central warehouse, it can be a headquarter. So plant can be served as many purpose. So here in this business scenario, we will treat as a plant as a warehouse or a central warehouse for our case. And under this plant we will create two storage location. Now why we are creating two storage location, we'll discuss it in our upcoming sessions, where we will discuss availability group. But just as of now, we'll say that, okay, we need two storage location. Now what is storage location? Storage location is a organizational entity where you are going to keep your material or product for your plant. Okay, so let's say if it is a warehouse, then you cannot directly store your material at a plant level. You have to generate a storage location, and you will keep your material at a storage location level. Okay, now all the warehouse management solution will come under your storage location. So if you are not using a warehouse management solution, you are just using a IM level. Okay, in you will heard this terminology IM. IM is a inventory management. So if you are just purely using inventory management, there is no warehouse management solution. So in that case, storage location is the smallest organizational unit for your environment or for your organization. But if you are using a plant, if you are using a warehouse management solution, then you have to generate the below organizational structure under your storage location. Now those structure we are going to discuss it today, what those structure will be. Okay, so under your warehouse you will get storage type, storage section, and bin. Okay, and bin is the smallest organizational unit if your warehouse management is active in your environment. Okay, now you will ask me that, okay, why we are creating so many complexity? Because you are going to store your data. Basically, what is SAP or what is ERP? So there are two major functions of ERP. First one is to store the data, whatever the day-to-day business processes you are doing. Let's say purchasing department is creating purchase order, sales department is creating sales order, then your finance department is clearing some payment to your vendor, or making a payment to a vendor, or taking a payment from supplier. Those are different transaction. So to organize your data, you are going to store your data at a different organizational level. So if you have a purchasing department who is creating a data, or let's say purchase order, so you have to mention that for which plant you are going to generate your purchase order, like for which central warehouse you are going to create a purchase order, or for which warehouse you are going to create a sales order, like which customer has demand and that demand can be fulfilled via which plant or which storage location or which warehouse. So there are so that you can organize your data in a proper manner. So that is the first objective of your organizational structure in your ERP. The second objective is to make it more organized, and you can take out those reporting according to your organizational structure. So you have stored your data, and you want to generate some report, so you can take out those reporting from your organizational structure. That's why your organizational structure is very much important. And in addition to this, the third one which I feel is that your organizational entity, like geographical organizational entity, can be also reflect. So if you are creating a plant, you are giving a address, okay, like you are giving or you are pinning the location on the map. Okay, so when we create a plant, I'll show you, at that time you can assign the address to that plant. Okay, so basically you are mapping all your geographical location for your company where those objects are located. So which is a very important in lot of aspect for your business. So that's why you need a organizational structure. Okay, everybody understood what is organizational structure, why it is important. Now again, if you guys are messaging me, I'm not able to see this because I have only one screen right now at the moment, and I cannot see any messages. If you have any questions, just unmute yourself and ask your questions.
Yeah, sorry. One question I have, Ashish. Like you mentioned about if there is inventory management or not, right? So is it like what is the standard practice? Like every one will generally have the inventory management, because you were saying that if the inventory management is not there, you told something, so that I wanted to
No,
understand.
I have not said that inventory management is not there. I said the warehouse management is not there. Okay, like now what happens is that we discussed in our first slide, we discussed about three type of warehouse, right? And let's say you are dealing with a warehouse which has a very small capacity and you are not using much complicated processes, and your customer is not willing to pay for any warehouse management solution. They want a SAP because they have a manufacturing plant, okay, and they are manufacturing something, but they don't want to manage the warehouse because warehouse is very small, and the capacity is also very less. They are not using much complicated processes. They are just receiving the raw material and creating a finished product, but they need a SAP because they want to uh, they think that in future they are going to grow, but right don't want to spend those licensing and implementation cost and all those cost. Okay, because ERP or SAP is a very costly affair. Okay, so in that case they will implement the SAP system, okay, but they will not activate WM solution, any WM solution whatever we discussed. uh, they don't want to apply SAP WM, or they don't want to take SAP EWM. So in that case, you have just your storage location at the smallest organizational level, and your day-to-day activity you can perform, like you can create a PO, you can receive a material, and you can store it at storage location. But in that storage location where you have kept the material, you cannot track it. Okay, but as the storage location itself, the entity itself is a very small, so you can easily identify if your storage location is just a big hall. okay, then it's a manageable. But let's say I'll take one example. In Tata Steel, the storage location where they kept their material is a 1 kilometer long. Okay, so in that case, how you are going to track where the steel product or raw material is kept? Make sense?
Completely agree. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Now my basic motive, because all of you other are already working on function module, but especially the guy who is ABAPer, I forgot his name, sorry. Like, did you got the things? Did you understand? um, okay, I'll take it as yes. Okay, so now what we will do, we will do certain steps in the training system, and we'll try to establish this organizational structure. Okay, so we'll create one plant, we'll create two storage location, and then we'll move on to the warehouse management area, and we'll create all the warehouse related activity. In addition to this, we'll also do certain steps to integrate your SAP EWM with your S4 HANA system. So we have total we have a group of steps which you need to perform. Now there are certain requests from my side that whenever you are creating it, try to use my reference plant and warehouse number which I give you. Now what is the reason behind it? That the plant which I am giving you is properly maintained for other modules, like your FI is maintained, FICO is maintained, all the GL accounts are properly maintained, your month end period opening closing, I'm doing it on time, and your QM and other, going forward we are going to see QM integration, PP integration, so those things are also set up by me. So I would request you to everyone to just copy certain entities, so that we will not face, or you will not face any FI or any other module error while practicing, because our main focus here to learn EWM. If you are getting EWM error, that is absolutely fine. I don't have any mind to discuss all those things, but I don't want to discuss FI or CO or any other module error. So if I'm saying that, okay, copy this in my step, I will also mention that, okay, whenever you are creating this object, you have to copy from this reference object. Okay, so let's okay, so these are the steps which you need to follow, and today we are going to discuss very few, or we'll just create some basic organizational structure, and then I will park this because today is the first session. But from tomorrow we'll also discuss all those things. So there are total 24 steps all in all to map our warehouse structure and your EWM structure. So we'll build up that structure, and then after this 24 step, we'll further discuss new business scenarios like inbound process, outbound process, what is put away picking, all those things will come later on. So let's go and first of all take it in the training system. So we'll create, as a first step, we'll create a plant, because I don't want to create company code and all those things, because our main focus is EWM, and EWM is not dealing with any financial object or any financial related topics. Okay, so only in your PI and in your PI topic, like physical inventory, you will see the pricing of your material, even though you will not able to see any prices of your product in your EWM screens. Okay, so EWM has nothing to do with any financial entity, so we'll keep it aside, but we'll focus from plant. We'll create one plant, and as per our organizational structure, we'll create two storage location under your plant. Okay, so let me connect to the system. So Naveen and team will provide you with the server access. If they have not provided you, they will soon provide you the detail access. So you have to use 2023 server. And when you log into it, they will provide you the user ID and password. For me it is single sign on, but you have to use client 100. So you just make sure that they give you the client 100 access. And this is your SAP screen. I know you are facing some issues with the font. I'll just increase the font. Now it should be good. Okay, so to create your plant, you have to go to SPRO IMG, enterprise structure, define, and here you have logistics general. And as I told you that you have to copy from your reference plant. So if you go to the Excel sheet, I'll share you the Excel sheet after this session. So you have to copy from a Z009, because for this plant all the above organizational activity, GL account and everything is properly maintained. So I will urge you everyone to use the same reference plant. Okay, so we'll click here, copy, and we will click on this copy icon. So we'll give Z009, and plant is, I'm using plant Z012. Okay, so I'm copying from Z009 to Z012. Okay, just give all the pop-up because it will copy all the number range and everything will get copied. So it will assign the company code, what we assign to Z009. Everything will be done automatically.
So just a question on the real time. Will we work with the finance guys and ensure that for this particular plant, then there is a associated jail
Yes.
account or profit
Yes,
center? So
obviously. So when you are going for an implementation project, you will have a FI consultant, you will have QM consultant, you will have PP consultant. So everybody will do their part of work. And initially, the starting point would be your FI guys. They will set up the company code. They will set up all the FI related entities. Then gradually they will float that, okay, other modules can work on it, because FI is the first step, initial step, or basis consultant and FI consultant are the initial ones. Basis consultant will set up your system. Initially that system will have only one or two company code or reference plant. Most probably it will be 0001 is a reference company code, or 1000 is the company code, depending upon your version, what version you are working on. But accordingly they will also copy from the reference. So that is a good practice what SAP is offering. When you are going for an implementation project, SAP is not recommending that you create everything from scratch. So even though if you are going for an implementation project, if it is a very fresh system, still you will find one entry, one reference entry, at least one reference entry, or few reference entries. You can take those reference entry, copy it and modify it according to your needs. So whenever you will also see me, I'm following this practice since last 15 years. So like I am bit habituated with that. So I'm also taking and taking some object, even though it's not necessary, still I'm taking it and copying it. So that is in my blood, like that's how I'm doing it. Okay, but that is what SAP is saying, that okay, it is a good practice. There are certain steps which you have to follow as a good practice. So first thing is, you never create any entry from scratch. You have to copy from the reference object. Second one is, if you are creating some custom object, then it has to be start with the Z, Y, or X. Okay, that is again, like generally people will use Z, like most of the industry standard, like everybody will use Z in front of the object or key what you are creating it. That's why you can see that when I create my plant I use Z. But it's not necessary. Your customer says that, okay, my company's name is HP, so I'll start with plant name as HP. But mostly whenever you are creating any custom object, it has to be start with Z.
okay, thank you.
Yeah. But for this training system, we don't have any other support, like we don't have FI guys. So I'm the one man one army, so I don't want to like fix like a lot of guys FI or PP or QM errors. Okay, so that's why I told you to just copy it. So we'll just focus on EWM. Like for this 1 or 2 months, we will focus on EWM topics. What are the errors, or what, how you can understand EWM properly. Okay, so now this object is got copied. So I'll go back. I'll close this window and I will go to plant, define plant, just to check whether my plant got copied properly or not. Okay, so here I will change that. Okay, this plant which I have created is Z012. So I'll just change the description because as I copied it, it took the name. But if I select this and click on this detail icon, it will give me all the address. Okay, that's what I mentioned, that whenever you are creating any organizational entity, you can assign address to this organizational entity. So this is your address and all those things. Okay, okay, I'll save this entry. Okay, now I have created this, and now I will mention the object which I have created. So you have to follow the same thing. I'll share this Excel. Just delete this column. Okay, values on this column, and for your plant you can use it. Okay, you can use anything, but uh, I would request that whatever you are creating it, just give the initial character as Z. Okay, so that I can understand that this is a Z. Okay, and like people will also able to understand, so they will not think that this is a standard plant reference plant and they will copy it. Okay, because we are going to do a lot of R&D on this, so I don't want people to take your plant as a reference one. The next step is to create a storage location. Now as of now we are going to create two storage location. Now I will tell you why we are working on two storage location environment, because it will give you an idea that how multiple storage locations environment can be mapped with EWM. So it is very important that you create at least two storage location. Okay, so let's go to the system and create two storage location. So to create a two storage location, you need to go to material management and maintain storage location. Give your plant Z012, because storage location will always associated with your plant. So people working in they might be no. So I'll delete all the other storage location which are not required. And I will just keep two storage location which are my EWM managed. Why I'm saying EWM managed? Because in further session we are going to develop EWM structure under the storage location. So I'll create storage location AFS1 and ROD1. So available for sales and receive on dock on EWM. Okay, so those are the two storage location I have kept or assigned to my plant. So I'll just mention the same thing in my Excel sheet. So I have created available for sales one and ROD1 is my another storage location. Okay. Now, as per the organizational structure, now we will create SAP WM warehouse. Okay. Now you will say that, okay, we are learning EWM. Why we are creating a warehouse for SAP WM? Okay. Now, as I mentioned in my previous demo session as well as in today's revision session, that SAP EWM was never meant for S4HANA. Okay, that module was produced, or that module was made for SCM product. SCM is supply chain management product. Just like S4 HANA and ECC, it is a separate SAP product, which is a very popular. We have not heard maybe, but like a lot of popular modules like APO, TM and EWM, all those things are on SCM, like they were on SCM. And one time SAP was selling a separate license for it. Okay, now when S4 HANA was introduced, SAP thought that to popularize S4 HANA, because there were a lot of reluctance from the industry that they don't want to move it from SFA to S4 HANA. So they they taken out some of the popular module from SCM to your SCM to your S4 HANA. Now, while doing so, what they did, they just pick the code and they just place it on S4 HANA. So it is not a integrated module, and that's why it is called as a embedded. Why the terminology called embedded was invented? Because it is not a seamless module just like your MMPP, SD, or WM. It is a alien module for S4 HANA. So to set up that, you still need to connect with your existing ERP organizational structure, and those steps we are going to perform. We need to perform certain step to activate EWM in your S4 HANA system. Okay, so one of the step is to create SAP WM warehouse number, which is 3-digit alphanumeric number. And in second step, we are going to create SAP WM warehouse number, which is a 4-digit alphanumeric number. And afterwards, we are going to connect your SAP WM warehouse to EWM warehouse. So indirectly, what you are doing, you are assigning the organizational structure which you have assigned to your SAP WM to your EWM warehouse. Because there is no provision directly you can assign your storage location to your EWM warehouse. You have to go to your SAP WM warehouse, you assign your structure to your SAP WM warehouse, and then assign to your EWM. Okay, and that's how it has been set up. Okay, now you can say that, okay, why SAP is not integrating it? So it's not a easy job. SAP is gradually seamlessly integrating EWM, but it will take some time because there were a lot of complications, there were a lot of programming which they have to do. But as an immediate result, and they wanted to popularize S4 HANA, so they have just put the entire product in S4 HANA, and that's how it has been set up. So it's not my decision to take or assign it, because sometimes people will ask me a question that, okay, why SAP is doing this, or why they cannot do a seamless integration. It's not my decision, it's SAP who is taking that decision. Okay, so we'll follow the same thing whatever it is there. So we'll create SAP WM warehouse number, and we will assign that SAP WM warehouse to your plant storage location what you have created in first and second step. Okay, then we will go back to our organizational structure. I'll save this. Storage locations. Okay. Now I will go to logistic execution model. Still I am in a defined config node. Click on SAP WM, and here again I'm copying it from some reference object. It's not necessary here, but still I'm used to it. Okay, that's what, like, I don't want to type description and all those things, but if you want you can do it. So Z12, and I'll just give SAP EWM warehouse for Z012. Okay, I'll given the description and I will click on copy. Okay, so this is my SAP WM warehouse. I'll update it in Excel sheet. So Z12 is my SAP WM warehouse. Now the next step is you need to assign your plant and storage location combination with your SAP WM warehouse. So basically have done this. Now we are going to assign this to storage location to your WM warehouse plant. Okay. So let's go back. Now for assignments, you need to go to the assign mode or assign node. So I'll go to the enterprise structure in assignment. And here you can go to the logistics execution and assign warehouse number to your plant storage location. So we'll select here. And as we have two storage locations, we are going to create new entry. So I have Z012 is my plant. Available for sales is my first storage location, and I will assign Z12 is my SAP warehouse number. Z012 is my plant. ROD1 is my second storage location, and Z12 is my again a warehouse number. Okay, so I'm basically assigning here my warehouse with storage location. So this area, okay, this combination, okay, ROD1 to your warehouse number and available for sales to your warehouse number. So basically we are doing this particular linkage. And save this. Okay, so I will again update this. So what we did, Z12 is assigned to Z012, uh, ROD1, and your available for sales one. Okay. Now, now the fifth step is, again, I cannot see the comment. Anybody has any question? Okay.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how many warehouse number we can assign to one storage location?
You can assign n number of
N
warehouse. So
number
depending upon your requirement, you can assign multiple
for
to
one
one.
storage location.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. But generally, when we do it, like if you think logically, I have not seen like more than two warehouses or three warehouses to one storage location entity. So
One
whenever
storage.
you are creating these structures, you are not going to
Okay.
create it randomly. You have to go to the customer's place. You have to understand
Ah,
their physical warehouse,
yeah.
how it behaves, and accordingly you can do it. I'll give you one example. When I was going for
Okay.
implementation project for one of my distributor, like they were distributors, okay,
Right.
and they have a central warehouse, but it
Yeah.
has been divided by two processes. So they have
Okay.
one process where they are sending goods to bulk to the
Well.
customers, like B2B,
Okay. Ah.
okay, business to business, and
Okay.
B2C is the same warehouse, same place, but there is a very thin borderline, okay, like there is
Okay.
a like no partition, but
Uh-huh.
logical partition they have. So they were
Yeah.
treating as a two warehouses. So in
Okay.
one storage location they created two warehouses. So you can create it, but it's depending upon your requirement, you can create it.
Okay. And
But
each SAP warehouse will have a direct connection to EWM
yes,
warehouse.
yes, yes, yes,
Okay. We
yes.
cannot club like two SAP warehouse to one EWM warehouse number.
This SAP WM warehouse is just for the linkage. So
Okay.
depending upon your storage location, how you're going to map it, you are going to assign it. So if you want to assign one storage location is assigned to multiple warehouses, then yes, you can assign your SAP WM warehouse to your multiple EWM warehouses.
Oh, we
But
can
I have
apply.
not seen
Okay.
it. Yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
have not seen it like
Uh-huh.
practically I have not seen it. Like you can do it, okay, it's
Okay.
just a assignment, right? So SAP is not going
Okay.
to deny the entries, but like logically
Okay.
it doesn't make sense to me. I have not seen it in my entire career.
Oh, okay. Okay. And whatever the transactions we do, that's actually where we are doing in extended, that is in EWM we are doing warehouse or in SAP warehouse we are doing.
Definitely, I'm going to answer that question because we are going to perform those things, but to showcase those things, because some of the transaction we are going to perform it in S4HANA and some of in EWM screen.
Oh,
So
okay.
just give me some time. I know
Okay.
it's difficult. You have to keep some patience.
Yeah,
Let
yeah.
me complete this 24 steps, and then
Okay.
definitely I'll show you all those things. Okay, like it will
Okay.
get clear. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Ashish, one
Okay.
point I wanted to say was if the warehouse if it is one to one between your ERP warehouse and EWM warehouse, then you know that there is a synchronity. But let's say, if, as you said, that if somebody is assigning two, which then you will not know that in this ERP system, if I am doing some operation for
Yeah,
a particular
correct.
plant, then I don't know when I'm
Exactly.
assigning to
No,
two plants.
you can do that. Those things we are going to discuss it. Don't worry, you
Okay.
can do it. Okay, that's why I have kept this simple scenario, because a lot of
Okay.
you guys are doing it for first time. So
Yeah, yeah.
if you are doing it for first time, so if you learn ABCD, then you can build words, and from words you can build sentences. So let's try to map this scenario, and then those complicated scenarios you can do it in it later stage. But yes, you can still identify it based on your entitled party to dispose. Okay, that is another entity which is which your SAP WM does not provide. So SAP WM cannot like assign like multiple things. Okay, but EWM can do that, and it can identify different structure. Okay, so different plant can be identified. So if you have like different plants, and for two plants you have one central warehouse, still you can identify that, okay, this stock belongs to this plant and storage location, this stock belongs to this plant and storage location by entitled party to dispose. Those things are much more complicated. Let's not discuss that area. Let's try to understand a simple thing first, and then we can go ahead. But don't worry, I'll explain you those entities or objects what we are doing. Okay.
Okay. Do we need any ABAP experience for this technical knowledge?
uh, According to me, no, because this training is functional training, and we are not going to discuss any custom areas. Okay, like Z things we are not going to do. But Naveen is also providing you the techno functional training as well. He has one guy who has a very good experience in techno functional. So if you are interested, you can enroll, but I'm not that good at ABAP. But yeah, I know need to know basis ABAP, so I can survive with EWM, because you need a little bit of knowledge, but it's
Yeah.
not mandatory. Okay, it's good
Some
to have.
basic functional, this one, basic
It,
technical ideas is
yes,
okay.
it is a pure
Okay.
functional area, just like your MM, SD,
Yeah,
PP,
yeah.
QM. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Now we are going to create SAP EWM warehouse, which is 4-digit alphanumeric number, and that's what is our next step, which is step number 5. We are going to create EWM warehouse, and if you remember, I told you that EWM is a separate component.
Yeah,
Like, it is
separate.
never meant for S4 HANA or ERP. So generally, all your organizational structure, we have defined it here and assign it in your enterprise structure in assignment. So these are the two nodes we created all the structure. But for EWM, it is an exception, because for EWM you can see. Okay, and still they are using this name as SCM EWM. They are not using EWM. See, SAP is giving all the credit due to all the products, okay, because EWM is not their original S4 HANA product. So still they are using it as SCM, and until and unless they build it or seamlessly integrate it, they are not going to remove this SCM in front of EWM. Okay, and then they are still going to use it as a embedded EWM terminology. But anyhow, if you go here, and whatever configuration settings you are going to do, like if you are going to create a warehouse structure or anything, you will find everything here for EWM. Okay, then you can go to SCM EWM. Under that, you go to master data, and under master data you have this define warehouse number. So we will take a reference warehouse again, Z009, and I will copy from Z009, and I will create Z12, and I will save this. So I'll say that, okay, Z012 is my SAP EWM warehouse. You cannot give more than 4 character because it's 4-digit alphanumeric key. So you can give anything here in 4-digit. So I have completed this step. Now here you can see there is a single line, okay, like which is assigning. So you need to assign your SAP WM warehouse to your EWM warehouse. This is the first linkage, or this is the first integration part which you have to do, or this will be considered as your S4 HANA EWM integration step. So if you want to use EWM, this is a very critical step. You have to assign this. Without this, you cannot set up. This is the first step. There are few others which we are going to discuss it in this 24 step is included. I have to separately show you another step here, but that I'll show you later on. But this is the first step. This is a very important step, that you need to assign your SAP WM to your EWM. Where you will do this? So So we'll go back. So I'll close this master data and I will go to the interfaces. Under interfaces, we'll go to ERP integration because that's what we are doing. So SAP S4HANA is your mainframe ERP system and you are going to integrate your ERP. Now, even though EWM is the same server or same box or embedded version, still it will be treated as a separate logical system. So you have two separate logical systems. One is for S4 HANA and one is for your ERP. For EWM. Okay, so you have two separate logical system and you need to set up those, or you need to integrate both the system so both the system can be communicate together. So the first step to integrate your S4 HANA with your EWM is to assign your SAP WM warehouse to your EWM warehouse. So I'll go to general settings.
Will we get any material regarding this if we forget how to do this? How to?
These are the steps. Okay, so if you copy this, okay,
Yeah.
and you go to SPRO,
Yeah.
Control F. See, you guys are like 15 years of experience, right? So
Yeah.
I I expect that you guys can find it out like
If
that,
I
right?
do 2-3 times, I will remember.
Yeah.
The first time,
And you will
so
get this recording as well, so don't worry.
okay.
So
If I
I'll
get a
show you how
recording,
to do it. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
then it's not a problem. If I get a recording, it's not a problem.
Is there any like guide, like at least because we are going to interfaces, we are going to
Yeah,
because
that's
it's
what I told you, right? You can copy this object
okay.
and you can do Control F in your SPR and you will find it out with the.
Okay.
Okay.
so when you search it will take me to the exact point.
Yeah, exact point. Yeah, it's
Oh,
it's
okay.
a SPRO configuration node which I have given. So
Yeah,
I
because
don't think.
because I
See,
was into BIBW, so a lot
Yeah.
of the time if I had to go to functional and then go to SPRO, we used to not have access. So that's why we might not be
no, you will get a full access. Okay, you have
Uh-huh.
SAP all
No,
access in
not,
this
not
training
here. I'm
system.
telling in our projects. I'm just telling an
Okay,
example.
okay. Now you can do that. Okay, you can just copy paste it here, and if you don't find anything here, like it's a very complicated one, so you will also find the recorded session for this. So Naveen is already recording this session, so you'll get a recording
Okay,
afterwards.
then good. No problem. You can refer
So
it.
yeah, so assign warehouse number to your logical. So SAP WM warehouse to your EWM. I'll click on new entry. So Z12 is my SAP WM warehouse and Z012 is my EWM warehouse. Save this. Okay, so this step is also done. Z0, sorry, Z12 to Z012. So what we are going to discuss further is some of the master data. Okay, now one of the master data is your supply chain unit. Okay, let me open um, I'll just stop my screen for a second and I will reshare it. I'll open the document for you guys. So documents. Okay, it's under training document. Let me open training document. Training document. Um, Sorry guys, just bear with me. I'll just quickly share it. Extrusit is okay, let me reshare it. Here it is. Okay, now if you don't find any any like this is your master data. Okay, so you'll not going to do it in your SPROs because it's a master data. Now for all those master data, you have to do it in your SAP easy access screen or via transaction code. Okay, now we will first of all discuss this, what is this object, okay, why this is needed, and then we'll discuss the assignment part, or we'll discuss from the system perspective. Okay, now what is supply chain unit? So supply chain unit is a master data which would be required. Now this is a SCM terminology which SAP has still continued in your embedded version. There are few reasons for it. Okay, first of all, like people who has worked in SAP WM, or they know this. Okay, you cannot assign address to your SAP WM warehouse. So we created 3-digit alphanumeric key, but you didn't see any like geographical location. You cannot map or pin any geographical location. You cannot give address. It's just a 3-digit key. Okay, so
But
first,
that 1 second. We are assigning warehouse number to a storage location and plant. No, by default it is plant address only, no, or storage location
yeah, but
address.
your storage location, let's say, is a very huge area. Okay, and
Uh-huh.
in your storage location you have two separate warehouses. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
just listen to me, then I'll give you the examples as well. Okay, don't worry. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay. Sure.
but you don't have any values. Okay, you are dependent on any other object. Okay, so
Okay.
you cannot give any address to your warehouse number, right? So
Okay. Okay.
so via supply chain unit, the first objective can be met, that you create a supply chain unit, you can assign a address to it. Okay, now other thing is, you can say that, okay, what is supply chain unit? Everything is good, but what is supply chain unit? So in SCM you don't have this terminology called plant, vendor, customers, and a shipping point and all those things. So what they do is they create a supply chain unit for plant, customer, vendor, and distribution center. So for our warehouse, what we want to create, for our warehouse we will create one supply chain unit, and that supply chain unit can be assigned to a time zone, a region, and attributes. Now what is attribute? So if I talk you about like simple English language, if I say that what are the attributes of a human body, so one head, two arms, two legs, two eyes, one nose. Okay, those are the attributes. So at a similar way, if I say that what are the attributes for your warehouse, what do you think, what will be the attributes, physical attributes?
Location.
Location, then your warehouse might have doors. Okay, it will have your GR office, it will have a shipping office, it will have a storage facility or actual warehouse. Okay, so there are different attributes which you can assign to your warehouse. So those attributes you can assign via supply chain unit, because once we create this supply chain unit, we are going to assign this supply chain unit to your warehouse. So the transaction code to create a supply chain unit is this. You can go via transaction code. I will mention the transaction code number in the Excel sheet so that it can be treated as your guide, like config guide. But it's not a configuration, it's a master data. Now, any transaction which you use for your EWM or for SCM EWM, you have to use /n in front of it. Okay, so if I'm not saying /n, just consider it as by default /n. Okay, now we'll go back to the system. Okay, so you will end up in the screen, or you can use SAP easy access, go to logistics, SCM EWM. See here in your easy access tree also it has been mentioned as SCM EWM. Then you go to EWM, go to master data, and under master data you'll find the same transaction. Now I will create one entity. So this
This
you
one,
can give.
sorry, Ashish. Are we doing this in the ERP system, or are we doing this in the EWM system?
Okay, this is the catch. So you have only one centralized system. Okay, you have only S4 HANA system. You are doing everything in S4 HANA. It is not a decentralized. So you have one screen, okay, or one system, but EWM and S4 HANA has a separate logical system. Logical means it's not physically present, like it's a logical thing, but it will be treated as a separate logical system. Make sense? So
Yes.
you
So
are doing everything in one screen, but in background, system will treat them as a both separate system for transaction data communication.
point. But the question was more like, because if it is, you are saying logical system, that means you open your two screens, and whichever the settings you need to do, you still do it in your ERP, and then whichever you are doing in EWM, then you have to do there, right?
Yes.
Even though
So
it is only
screen
one.
is one. Yeah, screen is one, but you whatever you are doing will be stored into a separate logical systems. Okay. Okay. So now here I will give some name. Okay, generally to understand this, I use this that SCU, like the short form of your supply chain unit underscore my warehouse number. So I have given SCU Z012, and here you have various type. Now this terminology is like I told you, like it's from SCM. So you'll find a lot of vendor and all those things, but we are not interested in that. We are just interested in warehouse. So 1008. You select this and click on this create. So you'll end up here. I will give some description. And see here, you can give this geographical data. Okay, in your storage location, still you cannot give. Somebody told me that, okay, in SAP WM, we cannot give address, but we can use storage location address, but you cannot use this detailed data like geographical data, as well as you can also give address. Okay, so I'll just select any address, doesn't matter here, but it matters when you go for an implementation project. And the second part is your attributes, business attributes, what I discussed. So you have total few attributes like 12 or 13 attributes you have here. So I'll just will create all the attributes, because when we are creating any business scenario in our upcoming session, so if you have not created those attributes, you will face an error that while let's say you have not assigned a GR office and you are doing an inbound process, so at that time you will get an error. So what we will do, we'll create or assign all the attributes to your supply chain unit. So see here, docking location, then you have your doors. Now you have gate, because all the warehouses will have their gates. And what is next? Your stock locations, like where you keep your material. Warehouse is your warehouse premises or the actual boundary of your warehouse, because you have a building, outside building you have like doors, then you have gate, you might be also having yard, so you have different warehouse areas. So those things we are defining. Loading point, so from where you are going to load all your stocks to your truck and all those things. Planning location, then you have RO is GR office, which is very important for your inbound delivery. So GR office is nothing where your paperwork is getting checked, whatever truck or delivery guy is reached to your warehouse and they are trying to unload the stock. Before at a gate or at a GR office, they will check all their paperwork, whether they are coming at a correct date, whether they have purchase order reference number, they have inbound delivery reference number. Those documents will be get checked. So similar way, you have shipping location, shipping office. So whenever you want to ship anything, it will be get checked here. Then you have zone. Okay, this is all our extra, so I'll delete them. I don't need any blank entries here. I'll just make sure that all of the attributes are assigned. So DL, door, gate, IM, and VLP, RO. SO is remaining, right? SO is not given somehow. Okay, SO. And save this. Okay, so I'll mention this in my Excel sheet.
These are all standard attributes. No, can we create our own
Yeah,
attributes?
no,
Or?
you cannot create your own. These are
Ah,
the standard attributes, and like that's all.
okay.
Like you cannot create your custom attributes.
Ah, okay.
Okay, now tomorrow we'll see a business partner creation. Okay, because it's an important one. But right now, what we will do, whatever supply chain unit we have created, we'll assign to our warehouse. So right now, I am just highlighting this that this is pending. We'll do it in tomorrow's session. Okay, but we'll assign a supply chain unit to our warehouse. Okay, and that just I'm just removing, like whenever you are searching it, just remove this. Okay, and let's go back to here. Open. I'll do that in my SPRO screen. So I'll go to SPRO. Will be in SCM, EWM, master data. Under master data, you have assigned warehouse. So if you remember when we created defined warehouse or when we created EWM warehouse number, just below that, there is a configuration node called assign warehouse number. So see here, you are here in your SCM, EWM master data. Here we created our SAP EWM warehouse number. Just below that, you have assigned warehouse number. So you can go via this. I would recommend you to go via this path, so you can understand the paths whenever you are going for an implementation project or whenever you are working on real project, you will able to understand. Okay, so I have assigned the so I'll click on new entry, and here my warehouse number is Z012, and here you can assign your supply chain unit underscore Z012 and enter. I'll save this entry. Okay, so I'll say that this assignment
Sorry,
Z012.
Ashish, there is a confusion. So, what I wanted to understand is that when you are this assignment, because just now we did the supply chain unit in the EWM, and now are we doing it in the ERP as well? So I think I'm confused.
See, I told you earlier as well, like there is no separate systems. Okay, you have one SAP screen. Okay, let me log out this so that you can understand. See here, you have only one client. Okay, in client 100, both your logical systems are present, so you are not going to use any separate screen for different configuration. You, if you go to SPRO, you have a unified configuration guide, where if you want to do S4 configuration, you will use other configuration node. If you want to use EWM configuration, you will go to SCM EWM. It is as simple as that.
Yeah, no, I understood that point. So my point was, when you are doing this, I wanted to understand whether you are doing it for ERP, or that setting is for ERP, or that setting is for
If
EWM. That
I
is
am, that's what I'm telling you. If I am doing a configuration setting in SCM EWM, then I'm doing it for EWM. If I'm not doing a configuration setting in SCM EWM, then I'm doing it for S4HANA. Make sense?
yeah.
And you don't have to remember that okay, I'm doing this settings for this logical system. Just remember that this configuration setting I'm doing in SCM EWM. That's it. Okay, so you can save your memory via that. You can save your RAM. Okay, so you don't have to remember every time, okay, I'm doing for this logical system. This is a logical system, so it is a background. It's system's headache to take those configuration and store it wherever they wanted to store. You have one centralized screen. If I want to do or use a EWM configuration, I will do it in SCM EWM node. That's it. Make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, where was I? Okay, so I have done the assignment. Now, as we are doing it for the first time, this might be a first session for you guys, so I don't want to overload you. Still we have half an hour, but uh, because if I go ahead, like, it would be like a lot of hodgepodge, and you will not able to understand. That's what my personal experience with the like first timers. Okay, so what we will do, I'll request team to share you this Excel sheet. Okay, and I will also share few notes to you guys, which team is going to share with you. So we have a lot of notes. Okay, so right now we are in a second note. Okay, like, this is the setup. I'll share this Excel sheet. Maybe these values will be not there, but whatever you required will be already mentioned in the steps. Okay, so don't worry. And for your SCM supply chain unit, I will also share this document, so whatever we discuss, you can revise it. So what I would request you everyone, that instead of just depending upon my data, or just by looking at it, you will not able to learn it. So what I would request, create your own plant storage location just like me. Okay, at least whatever I am doing it, at least replicate those steps. If not immediately, that's fine, you can take your time, but at least create your own data. And like, as much as data you created in this training system, your fundamental will get stronger and stronger. Okay, so just create your own plant with Z, so that I can understand and other people can understand, and create your own object. Okay, so I'll share the screen. Anybody has any question, forum is open. I can take any questions, whatever we discussed today.
Uh, uh, Ashish, can you please explain us what are all the activities we will be doing in this extended warehouse management? We have two things. One is storage location and one is warehouse management. So, any particular activities like RF, using of RF, using of barcode, or using of anything in the warehouse? What exactly we
Yes,
do in warehouse?
we are going to do everything. Okay, so we
Okay.
will create a purchase order. Like, if I talk about the inbound process, we are
Uh-huh.
going to create a purchase order. We are going to create inbound deliveries. Those are S4 HANA step. Those deliveries will be distributed to your EWM system. We'll create
Okay.
those warehouse tasks. We will
Okay.
perform those tasks, like confirm those tasks. I will also show you how you can perform those tasks in RF.
Okay.
And once you confirm those tasks, you can complete your good receipt. Those good receipt will again hit to your S4 HANA system inbound delivery, that GR is completed. In purchase order history will be updated, and your inbound delivery document will also get updated. Now, all those things, okay,
Okay.
you have to keep patience.
Okay. Okay.
I will
Okay.
cover each and everything. Just like inbound, we have outbound process. In addition to this, there are a lot of internal processes like physical inventory, replenishment. There are a lot of things has to be discussed, but I cannot go directly to that and showcase you until and unless I
Oh,
set up something,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
To
Okay.
create a purchase order, I have to create plant, I have to create storage location, I have to
Yeah.
create purchasing organization, right?
Okay.
Those basic data right now I'm setting up. So I would
Okay.
urge everybody, for initial 4 to 5 classes, just keep some patience.
Okay.
Okay, by end of fourth class, you will say that, okay, we are in action, we are getting a lot of business scenario.
Yeah.
Ashish is explaining a lot of the things, Okay, we are discussing a lot of business scenarios. I have a lot of business scenarios from my previous organization. I can ask those how it can be mapped and all those things. But
Okay.
before that, as I said earlier, to build a sentence, you should know first of all ABCD, then we'll go
Okay.
for words, and then we'll build up the sentences, and then we'll write a essay. You can write essays on your real-time projects.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah. And we don't have any exposure for S4HANA. Will it have any relevance? Because we are not using, we are only on ECC only.
Yeah, so for that, I see this training system is on latest S4 HANA version. So
Okay.
obviously, whatever I'm going to use S4 HANA, you will able to see it. Okay, and you are going
Okay.
to perform it. Okay,
Okay.
now there are few basic differences. Okay, but for EWM, we are purely discussing S4 HANA, because S4 HANA is not present in your ERP. Okay, it is in SCM
Yeah.
system. If you are using ECC, then ECC does not have embedded S4 HANA. If you are
Yeah.
using
Correct.
ECC, then you have to use SCM. Okay, so for
Yeah.
that purpose, EWM is on S4 HANA. So you can see all those exclusive points for EWM only on S4 HANA. In addition to this, whatever points which we need to cover for S4HANA. For an example, business partner. So if you
Yeah.
are working in ECC, you have not
Yeah.
heard this
We
terminology, or
don't have.
you
We
might
don't
have
have
heard,
this.
but you have not seen the screen, or you have not created it. So I'll
Yeah.
cover that. You have not heard material ledger. Okay,
Correct.
material ledger is again a new terminology to create a materials. You need
Mm.
for your accounting data, you need to activate material ledgers. But
Okay.
see, we are not going to go in depth for other modules. Okay,
Yeah.
so there are a lot of other changes for FI, SD, but those things are not relevant for EWM. We are going to discuss S4 HANA relevant to
Uh-huh.
your EWM. Otherwise, we'll deviate from the topic, right? And
Okay.
my whole and
Okay.
soul objective or motive is to give you a basic fundamental knowledge for
Yeah.
EWM. And for that, we are not going to initially discuss a lot of complex scenarios. Okay, like there will be n number of complex scenarios. Okay,
Yeah.
I am right now doing an upgrade. Okay, and I'm facing a lot of complicated scenario. But for you guys have just introduced to EWM, right? So there is no point to discuss all those complicated scenario. Some of you are from ABAP or BW. Those guys will get suffer, right? They will not able to understand, and they will like it is a demoralizative. Like if you are learning a new module and you are doing a most complicated scenario, doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, let's go and
Okay.
focus on basics, then we'll go and move ahead, and you can write what in your real time project, whatever you wanted to do, understand, and apply those changes.
Okay. So if we have not worked on S4 HANA also, learning EWM will not be an issue.
If some new topics are there, I will cover it, don't worry.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I am here to just share the knowledge. So
Yeah.
make most of the use and just keep some patience. Don't worry about those things. I'll give you all the like necessary knowledge to
Yeah.
understand EWM.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Yep,
Ashish, I
and
have a
that's why I
question.
told you to copy the reference plant, okay? Because I don't
Yeah.
want to stuck with all other S4 HANA
Yeah.
things.
That's what.
Yeah,
Yeah. Correct. Correct.
yeah.
We will copy. Same thing we will do.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Who has another question?
Ashish, Srikanth here. So I wanted to understand about this supply chain unit. So, what I wanted to understand was that, see, we created a warehouse plant, and then we had two storage locations, and then we have a warehouse number in the S4HANA, and then in the EWM, then we had a another warehouse which is 4 digit, and then we have assigned that one-to-one mapping. So, but what I wanted to understand is this supply chain unit, are we attaching that in the EWM system?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So if you, I'm still sharing my screen, right? Yeah. So if I go here,
No, we can't see it.
so you can see. Is it still not visible?
Yeah,
Yes, now
we can able to
can
see.
you expand a bit? So
Uh, it's
yeah,
already fully
yeah,
expand.
yeah.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
can see now.
We can see. We can see.
Okay. So see here the assignment. I have done it in EWM configuration node, like it's in SCM EWM, right? So I'm assigning my SCM supply chain unit in SCM EWM, and I am creating a supply chain unit also in EWM. So it's a SCM EWM object. Because if you see my notes, I have also mentioned that supply chain unit is a SCM terminology. So
Sorry,
if I
there is
go
a
to
lag seems to be. So can you show it again if you don't mind, please?
just a moment, I'll open a new session. I close
Uh,
that.
so the reason I'm asking is, see, for me, what clarity I wanted is, one thing you already said that it is the same system, but it is only logical systems. I'm clear with that. So there I don't have any doubts. But for me,
Hmm.
what I wanted to understand is, if you are going and assigning the supply chain unit in the EWM system, so let's say you did that setting and then you assigned that supply chain unit to that and then added that attributes. Is there anything that needs to be done corresponding in the ERP system, and what needs to be done in the ERP system is what I wanted to understand.
See, there is no ERP system. Try to understand. There is only S4HANA system.
Yes. When I say ERP, sorry. Okay.
ERP is a logical system which you
Yeah.
cannot see. Which you cannot see, you cannot separately create any data for it. It's system's responsibility to store those data. So don't worry. That's what I told you, other guy as well. Don't worry about the logical system. You have only one system, unified system. Okay. If you are creating any entity or configuration data, if you are creating in SCM EWM node, it is for EWM module. If you are creating anything elsewhere, it is S4 HANA.
Okay. Then the second one I have is, okay. So sorry, supply chain unit is where we assign here, right? So then the second question was, you also told about these geographical location. Something was there on the screen. So I remembered in one of the session or today's or previous session where you said that whichever is already there in S4 HANA system, that automatically comes in here. So that means it is not editable. But whereas whichever the settings that needs to be done in the EWM, you have that available so that you can make changes. So that is where, when you talked about the geographical one, so I was not sure whether is it editable or is it not editable. So that's what I was confused.
No, you have to, like, sorry, Shrikant, you have to revisit the demo session. I was talking about master data. Okay, so it's not relevant to the configuration
No, they
data what
here in
what
the
we are
supply
doing for.
chain unit you showed geographical location. Can you just go to that supply chain? In that, one of that was geographical location. So you said some point on that. I noted that as a question in my book.
Okay, so
I'm not
master
asking on the
data.
previous one.
Okay, uh, okay, yeah. Okay. Shoot your question.
Yeah,
I have
there
not
was
given any
somewhere.
address. I just given this to detail. Yeah.
No, I think in the supply chain unit, I guess it was there that geographical location.
This one, general data. Here it is.
Yeah, so this is what I wanted to ask. So is this comes automatically from the S4 HANA systems master data,
No,
or
this is coming from your address. So you give a address here in supply chain unit. Okay. So whatever addresses you are giving here, if I give Hyderabad's address, India and Hyderabad, then
yeah,
it will come like this is longitude and longitude, like the Earth
like
has this,
Google
right?
finds that longitude and latitude.
Yeah. So whatever country and region you select here, accordingly, this will get populated.
Oh, okay, that's what.
It's as simple as that. Like whatever data you are going to punch it here, accordingly, it will take all those values.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Then that sounds good.
Yeah, so it is not coming from your storage location. It's coming from your address which you are giving here.
Address for which one? So is it address for the warehouse?
Address for your supply chain unit. You cannot
Supply chain.
assign any address to your warehouse. That's why we are creating supply chain unit to assign an address to your warehouse. One of the use of it,
So
significance of
warehouse,
it.
whatever the number that we have given, we cannot assign address. So that's why we are creating a supply chain unit so that we can assign the address and also have the attributes for it.
Excellent. Yeah, that's what my objective is. Yeah.
Great. Okay. So because, see, this is where, because it's new for us, so maybe it will take
Yeah,
some
that's
time.
what. That's
We
what
also
I
need your help to get us to that level so that
I am here. Like you
Yeah,
can ask me any question, that's fine.
sure.
But like it should be like relevant, right? Like you cannot ask me a FICO question, right? Like
I would
see,
not.
there is a
I would not.
boundary for me as a
I
but
completely agree.
yeah, you
Yeah,
can
no,
ask
don't
me any
worry.
question.
Whenever there is out of scope question, you can always tell us that
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah,
out of scope. But
yeah.
if you know any high level, you can give an overview so that we'll
Yeah,
be
yeah.
able
If
to.
I know anything, I'll definitely share. Yeah.
That's all. No, no, I'm happy with that. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions?
So for access and the demo sessions, you have to check with Naveen, huh?
Yeah, yeah. You have to check with Naveen.
Yeah,
I don't
Hemant.
have
Okay.
any.
So once you make, once you enroll it, okay, you'll be getting the access to the mobile app, okay, and the LMS,
Uh-huh.
okay, and the server access, everything, okay.
Uh-huh. Okay, that you will be the point of contact.
Yeah. I'll message you in WhatsApp, okay.
Okay.
So
So,
apart from EWM, if you want to discuss any other point or topic, you can
uh-huh.
connect with Naveen and team. Okay, only for EWM you can
Okay.
connect with me. If you are not getting notes,
Yeah.
if you're not getting recordings, if you're not getting anything, just connect with Naveen and team. I am just here to just for 2 hours and explaining you the guys. All the
Oh,
management is Naveen and team.
Right.
okay.
So two questions we have. So like, let's say, for example, Ashish, whatever just now you said, like, for the first 6 steps, creating the plant or storage location, if we have any issues, who will help us for the lab if we are
I
stuck?
will help you guys. So whenever you guys will join, I will ask you the questions that okay, if anybody has any question from previous session or from their practice session, you guys can ask me. Like generally, I keep it in initial time, or maybe if the topic is in a continuation, I will request you to hold on and we'll take it in the later part of the or the last part of the session. But definitely, I will cover all your doubts. If you have any small doubt like which is not required any screen sharing session and I can answer it on WhatsApp, you can send it to the Naveen and team that this is my question, can you please send it to Ashish, and they will forward it to me. I will try my best to answer as soon as possible and they will reply you back, because I'm not allowed to share my contact details, so you have to connect with Naveen and team if we are not connecting on the session. But definitely I will keep a dedicated slot either in starting or by the ending of our
Keep it
sessions.
ending, please, because if you don't mind, because first for 1.5 hour, our minds will be fresh. We want to listen the new topic with you. These things
Sure,
can go on because
sure.
at the last half an hour, we'll also have like, for example, if I have something else to go somewhere or something, then it's better that I can go away after listening your session if there is somebody else has
Definitely,
doubts. So and the
definitely.
other point is, can you also give us, like, for example, today you talked about supply chain unit. There is a lot of functionality. So in SAP's link or whatever it is, so that then we'll have documentation, right? Maybe if you can show us something on the online, if we can show here, then what we will do is, whatever the topic you're talking, then we can go and read on that, and then we can brush up our skills so that we are really good with the functionality or understanding of the function.
See, you can read it out from SAP
Help.com.
help.sap.com.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's where I wanted
but
you to show.
but I would recommend not to focus on theoretical part, because the whole objective for this training session is a practicality. Okay, so what I would request you, refer whatever notes I'm giving you. Naveen will provide you a plenty of reading material. Okay, he will provide you the certification books, he will provide you the excellent SAP press book. Like one press book is very costly, he will provide you the like all the soft copy of that book. So I don't have to give any specific thing. Everybody who is worked in SAP, they all know what is help.sap, so I don't have to explain it. But in addition to this, SAP, like SAP press books are really very good, what Naveen is providing you. But what my focus is here, like instead of reading theoretical part at this moment of time, just focus on your practice. Okay, like this training system will be there for 2.5 months, whatever I'm taking the session. Okay, after that you will have to work on your project. Some of you have not on for HANA itself, like they are on ECC, so they will not get practice. Okay, so practice it. If you are getting a time, read my notes, see my recorded session, that is sufficient enough. I'm discussing a lot of things, and try to practice it as much as you can on your training system. That will help you a lot, trust me.
Okay.
And then you have a lot of time to read those materials. But still, if you want to read those materials, Naveen, are you there? Naveen, Naveen can provide you the
Can
SAP
you hear me?
Press book.
Hello?
Yeah, Naveen.
Yeah.
Like whoever so enroll, just share those certification books and
Yeah. They can
SAP
see
Press book.
automatically in the app. Okay, in the LMS they
Yeah,
can see it. Okay, everyone
yeah.
can see.
So those are very good books. Like I have started learning EWM from the SAP Press book, because certification books are bit on a very heavier side. Like the grammatical language is not that properly you will able to understand. They are very good, I'm not denying it, but for a initial like new guys, certification books are bit on heavier side. Like one book is for 2000 pages or 1000 pages, doesn't make like you will not get motivated. But SAP Press books are really very good. They are in a simplified language, so go with those SAP Press book. And once you finish that, then just read out those certification book if you are interested in going for a certification. But right now, my like, if you ask me, just practice it as much as possible in the training system.
I think the more practical we do, the better for us. I completely agree with that,
Yeah.
and we'll try to refer that press book where we can. See, for me, the intent. I'll tell you what is the intent. So, for example, if I'm coming to the topic, like supply chain unit was a new thing for me. So tomorrow there is also in S4 HANA. You were mentioning that there is a lot of new names and jargons that will come in. So for me, what I thought was like all I need is a quick book kind of thing, like 10 or 20 bullet points, so that I can read some summary and come to this, so that I can really understand what it is, and then I can add value. So the
Yeah.
or I can get value. I do not want to come into a session where completely I'm pale, and then it's like
But
that.
that's
That's where
my
I'm trying to see.
yeah, you can refer those certification book, as well as my notes are also there. So for advanced topic, I have given the numbers, so you can refer that. Okay, what will be the next topic, you will able to easily see. But it's my responsibility that if you are not coming with reading, because most of you initially you are a bit pumped up and you are excited, so you guys will read. Okay, but after, like, in a very busy schedule, nobody is reading. Okay, I know some of you will feel hard to join the session.
I
Okay,
know.
because of busy schedule, I know all those things. Like, people are very pumped up in initial sessions, but afterwards, that it's kind of a soda bartley kind of thing, right?
Correct.
but
Correct.
but it's my responsibility. If you are joining the session, I will make sure that you understand this point, what I want to convey. I have not seen even a single student who is not able to understand whatever I'm explaining. So you understood supply chain unit today, so the same quality of teaching you will get it in our my next sessions. Okay, so I will make sure that whomsoever, like, if he is a fresher or experienced guy, okay, 15 years of experience in WM module, or a junior guy who has just joined SAP, it's my responsibility that whatever I am, my agenda should be cleared and transfer it to the guys. Okay, so don't worry about it, it's my responsibility to cover the topics.
Sure. And the last point that I have, like, because it is very new screens for us, maybe initially when you are showing whether it is supply chain unit or any other settings, if you don't mind, can you go a bit slow, so that we all are repeat there itself for one more time, so that we understand that? Because after 4 classes, as you said, then we are acquainted with that. Then I think, you can have your natural pace. So maybe
Yes,
because I was struggling a bit for
I know,
initial.
I know. A lot of people will struggle. Even though if I go with a very slow pace, still you guys will face some difficulty. So for that, what is the solution of it? I'll give you the solution. You give me the problem, I'll give you the solution. So Naveen will give you the recorded session. Okay, so before you start your practicing, just go through the recorded session in 1.5x speed or 1.25 x speed. Okay, so if I'm talking a very slow, because I'm discussing a lot of business scenario right now, I have not discussed anything, but going forward I will discuss a lot of business scenarios slowly. So you can bypass that and you can see those screen. If required, take screenshot where I'm going, what I am doing, and I am also providing you the Excel sheet, so refer that as well. So go 2-3 times. Once you go 2-3 times, you will get acquainted with the screen easily. Okay, so before you start practicing it, just review my recorded session. It's a very handy tool. And Naveen, I guess, will give you a very good amount of time. They will store this recorded session for you guys. So make use of it. And then you go for a training system and do your settings.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Anything for me, guys? I guess we have utilized most of the time. Um, Okay, we'll connect tomorrow at the same time and we'll discuss further. Our main objective for initial 2-3 classes is the same, that we want to set up this 24 steps, and then we'll move on to the business scenarios. Okay guys, thank you so much. It was nice to have you guys. Thank you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Thank you, Ashish. Bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye bye bye
Have a
bye.
good day.
Thank you, Ashish. Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
And Naveen.
Hemant, I'll connect you in the call, okay?
Oh, yeah. Please call me.